Podcast. We've got a very special guest, Dave Maestro. Dave, man, it is so good to see you,
Phil,
my friend.
Thank you for having
me.
me
How the heck
on.
are you?
Doing great.
I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it, and I'm very grateful and humbled to have me on your show.
Shoot,
I'm just an angler.
Well, you know what? And just an angler with a lot of knowledge. You were just on the Thunderbird. We're going to talk about Jeff Markland and his crew. We're going to talk about the great fishing you had, bluefin tuna fishing, I think in U.S. waters, but we'll get to all of that. And we'll talk about your philosophy about fishing. I remember you telling me that it's soul cleansing. Is that the word you use?
It is. It's soul cleansing.
Yeah, you tell your wife that, right?
Yeah.
And there's just so much more. You have a mentor or a guy that you almost consider your dad who's 72 years old.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that. And of course, what these guys want to know is, how do I catch a bluefin tuna? And we're going to talk about the most effective ways right now. Are they biting at night? Are they biting in the daytime? What pound? You know, the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. Can I first of all thank some sponsors?
Well, of course.
All right. Well, Thank you. Let's start with Opsin Fluorocarbon. Opsin Fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout. And Greg Brown, he's getting writer's cramp, but he'll send you a personal note as well as a free gift. 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, where we find ourselves tonight. Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, beautiful.
They got quite a fleet out there now.
Yeah, they do.
And you got to say hi to a friend.
Brian Burrell, great guy.
I love
that
Brian.
guy. He's a great guy, fishy guy.
He decks on the Monte Carlo, but you mentioned he's fishy. He is, isn't he?
Yes, he is. We fish in it with the group every year that he goes out on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll get into all that.
Yeah. This is going to be another long one. I can see that already. Doug Rubin says hello from the El Sueño. Travis Bright says hello, thanks for doing this. He's got to be talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach. If you're going surf fishing, I'll tell you right now, go down there to the corner of PCH and Seal Beach Boulevard, almost forgot, and get your bait and tackle. It's a great place to go. Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Sam De La Torre, I saw you there the other day.
Always there.
I'm not BSing when I say this. The customer service there is outstanding.
It's the very knowledgeable staff, and that's why I like to go there. The spot where you can hang out and just talk.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah, and they're not so busy, maybe sometimes you can help them out a little bit,
Yeah, right.
Without getting in their way.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Like an old man now, but I went to grammar school, Nativity Catholic School, with this guy Bob Gifford, and he showed up to the KC Anglers Club with Nick Acosta, another guy that I went to grammar school with,
wow,
high school. But Bob just went there, I think, yesterday, and he goes, "Man, you are really costing me some money." But he was stoked because he's just getting into it. Now he's fishing with me, so he got, a rod for tuna and a bunch of other tackle, and he's stoked. And he said Sam couldn't have been more kind. He said it was great. Tony Gonzalez says, "Hey everyone, 540 Slinger. Good evening, Dave and Phil."
Hello, Tony. All right.
I got to stay up with all this stuff, let me tell you, because last week it went just too fast. Oscar Geronimo. Oscar, I'm still having nightmares about hollow spectra, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Oscar's a great guy, and he's down there. Mike Morrison. Do you know Mike?
I do, yeah.
The manager of 22nd
I was going to bring
Landing?
him up later, but yeah, great guy. Met him at one the South Bay Anglers Club meeting, and
He's a
gave me
super
his card, super guy.
Honestly, the Freeman Adventures podcast would not be a reality without Mike Morrison. He called me down here. He took me back to this room, and he said, "How would you like this to be a podcast studio for you?" And I said, since I had, was back from China, and said, "Man, I like that idea." And so it was Mike, and then Mark Paisano said, thumbs up. Jeff Jessup, all the guys here really supported us and have helped us to grow. So yeah. I'm almost going to cry, Mike. All right, Travis Wright, thank you both. Oscar Geronimo, feel free to give us a Yelp review. All right, we can do that. Slam and Sammy, what's up? Can't wait for today's info. Me either. Gary Mizuhara. Hi, David. Hi, Philip. Do you know him?
I do.
I see you shaking your head.
Yeah,
say hi to him.
That's our group right there. Yeah.
Thanks for having David in the podcast. Gary, I feel blessed that he's here. Yeah. Chris Bailey, back for some more, Phil. I will be on the water this weekend. Chris, my very best to you. Good luck. Hope you really get them. Ruben Lopez is here Brandon is here. Man, we got a lot of
All right.
people here. You got to love it. Brandon's here. Dave, I cut tonight's butter with a knife. We will see albacore this season. He's predicting. I put a new albacore thing up. I hate to put you on the spot, but a tuna just bit your fly line. Okay. I'm not sure what Brandon's talking about, but Brandon, we will see albacore. I got to go back to these guys, Fish Taco Chronicle magazine. You know the people that are on the cover.
Yep.
Who are they?
That's Robert Tessler and Lori Heath. Great fisher couple there, and they're users of range shadow rods, and she builds her own rods, and I believe he does too. But great reports on the group pages you'll see, and they thorough reports. So if anybody knows they're on a trip and they come back from the trip, they're very thorough on giving you a breakdown.
Tracy's Lounge is here watching also. The Malahini down there at H&M Landing in San Diego. Did you watch the interview that I was so fortunate to do with Bill Wilkerson? It was fantastic because of Bill, not because of me. Bill did a great job. He's a humble guy, and he always seems to touch on like his philosophy of fishing. We get into the tackle and everything, but he's another guy that feels like it's soul soothing, soul cleansing, So that's great stuff. Ventura Sport Fishing, all those guys up there. Tucker, Cody, Steve, Saul up in the office. I hope you're watching tonight, Saul and everybody, but they're all great people. Great customer service there. 805-676-3474. Man, I got all those in my head, don't I? I'm not reading those. I'm amazed I can remember them. If I can, I'm going to run out of here. And what else? Those are some of our great... Oh, shoot, Daiwa right behind you there. Let us not forget Daiwa. And we got ops in there. And I went and saw Maverick, the Top Gun movie.
I hear great things about it.
They're absolutely right. I've seen it twice now.
All right.
I'm the kind of a maniac that when I like a movie, I'll go see it 10 times.
I hear you.
My wife watches it once, and she's like, why would I want to do that again? In China, I watched Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise 10 times. One night, it was 9:30 at night. I'd finished grading tests and everything. It was snowing outside, and I go, screw it. And I went out, walked down to the mall, and went and watched it for the 10th time. So
nice. Great
movie, and I might even do a movie review here very, very soon. All right, let's see. Awesome photo says Brandon, slamming Sammy's. Great beginning, reel for first time bluefin tuna fishing, entry level. We'll get to that question next. Let me just run down because a bunch of guys put stuff up on our YouTube channel. So I just wanted to answer them really, really fast. Number one, Foxkill was on the Gentleman on Friday, had 8 nice barracuda, and on the Tatty 4, he had 4 calico bass and a sand bass, and I understand that Channel Islands blew up today with sea bass.
Yes.
Awesome white sea bass fishing. And I was looking at that weather window and saying on the morning briefing, so it's there, they're going to get them because every time they get a weather window, David, boom.
They get them.
Yeah, they get them. They've been just hampered by terrible weather this year. So that is really, really good to see. A guy by the name of Kurt Wenzel is watching in Arizona tonight.
All right.
I decked with him in Redondo 50 years ago, 45 years ago, 50 years ago. And him and I were on a commercial boat called the Thunderfish that I was running. And David, nobody taught me that you should check how much fuel you have. Anyway, we went from Redondo to the dumping grounds.
Oh, wow.
You know how far that is.
Yeah, that's a haul.
And we ran out of fuel on the dumping grounds. I was on a first name basis with the Coast Guard. Hey, Phil, where are you today?
Looking for albacore?
We caught albacore. Yeah. But they came out and towed us in. And the funny thing is, when we woke up in the morning, well, actually, you're not supposed to sleep. You're supposed to have somebody on the wheel at all times. But they're towing you, so, commercial fishing, you're beat and you try to sneak up.
We're going back 50, 45 years.
Yeah, right. Okay. I think the statute of limitations has passed.
Yeah.
We wake up and I look at the cutter that's towing us. What do you think they're doing?
Trolling
for albacore.
Yeah.
And when the guy came and first got us, he goes, "Oh, you guys got some nice albacore." I go, "Yeah, hey, you want some?" "Oh, yeah, thank you." The Admiral or whoever, the guy with the stripes, cool guy. So that was really funny. So Kurt Wenzel, send you all my very, very best. Tim wants to know a little bit about Corbina fishing along the beaches. We'll get into that. He wants to know if he can donate some stuff for our Mexico stuff. You can bring it here to 22nd Street Landing, Tim, or just send me a text and we'll make some arrangement to get that from you. And he wants to know about our Facebook or our Freedman Adventures trips. They're on Facebook under Freedman Adventures, or just send me a text, Tim, 657-227-6459, and I'll shoot you the list. David's been on the trips, and it was great having you on that trip.
Yeah,
we were on the Amigo,
trip.
right? We
Yes.
were out on Cortez?
Yes.
Did we catch yellows and tuna, or what did we do?
Nice big yellows.
Yeah.
And we got yellows and Dorado.
Oh, that's right. Second day, the smaller Dorado, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we caught some nice big cod.
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, I was all screwed up with my Ganyan, or I forget what, and you go, hey, let me help you out there.
Open it up. Here you go.
Oh my God, you took good care of me. All right, let me, before we get too far, Simon Sammy wants to know, what's a good beginning reel for first-time bluefin tuna fishing? Entry level, do you have an idea?
I do. I feel for an entry level, cost-wise, I think a Penn Fathom 40. And the reason why I say this, and it could be luck or just, sometimes it works out. I was on a trip, and a very good friend of mine landed a 241-pound bluefin this year, a month ago. It was a Torque 40, but the other guy next to him who had a bigger fish was on a Fathom 30. So it is doable.
Yes.
And that's a good beginner's reel, because then I can step it up and say, now you're going to move into I think a Macaira 20, Macaira 16, even you can get away.
Yeah.
As if maybe for this bigger fish, it's probably a good bet.
You know what's funny?
Depending on your budget.
The guy, Bob Gifford, that I was just talking about, the guy from grammar school, he went to Island Fishing Tackle, and that's what Sam set him up with. He said, I'm beginner, I'm just getting into it, so you guys concur with one another. That's great.
Because Sam helps me out over there a lot too,
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you were the one who said we have two maestros on the show tonight, right?
We do.
Yeah, you and me, a teacher. And I don't have my teaching credentials. I don't know if you know that or not, but when I got out of Loyola Marymount, I went to law school for like 15 minutes before I said, I don't want to do this. I went to Loyola Law School and didn't want to do that. So I just went back to my alma mater, Bishop Montgomery. And at that time, it's a Catholic school. Oh, you don't need a teaching credential, you're in.
All right.
And then all my teaching after that was overseas, China, Costa Rica, Mexico. And that was mostly I was donating my time. So they're like, okay,
come on
we'll
over.
take you.
Yeah.
You have a pulse? Yeah, I still do. All right, you're hired. All right, Joe May, the legendary David. You know Joe May? Joe May, Hey, Gary. He's saying hi to Gary. How about Go Shishi? David's a great angler and friend. He knows his stuff. That's why you're here.
That's it, yeah. So some of these nicknames, I
know,
apologize. It's going to be a little hard.
You're right, I got you.
Yeah, I know Gary Mizuhara, his nephew works on the Pacific Queen, John. Very good guy.
Oh, okay, cool. Very good. Brandon's laughing the days when the Coast Guard would tow you in. Yeah, not charge you.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, hey, Phil, where are you broken down today?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Only cost you albacore.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of albies, and the guy could throw on the way in. Smash the like button, guys, says Joe May. I agree.
Right.
Let's see. We got 12 likes. Let's see that go up to 40 the next time I look up there. Thank you. I appreciate all the likes. Appreciate you guys sharing videos with everybody. That's the reason we are growing. We almost have 11,000 hours of content consumed in the last 28 days. That blows me away.
That's awesome. And thank you guys, too, for watching. I'm very humbled. So it's like I said.
David, I am so stoked you're here. All right. Today's sand bass count out on the Victory was great. Pretty awesome. So they had limits of sand bass. They had perfect conditions. The water temp was good. Trickle of a downhill current, which is perfect for sand bass. They were fishing with live squid. I don't know that these are migratory fish. I know a lot of people are talking it up and saying they are. I think we're gonna have to wait a little bit on that and see what happens.
Right.
Because with live squid, that certainly gives you an edge even when you're fishing a spot that would normally not produce that well. So I don't know if, I didn't talk to the guy, so I don't know if it was out in the mud and they metered clouds of sand bass. I don't know if we're gonna start seeing fish on the Tijuana Flats or up there, off Oceanside on the clam beds, or here in Huntington, or up in the Santa Monica Bay, or up in the Channel Islands. We'll see.
They're biting.
But my fingers are crossed. That was a great day today on the Victory.
Yeah.
Limits of sand bass. You got to love that, right?
Yeah, I had a friend, he went out today with the son, Oscar, if he's watching. They were on to the sand bass, and his son won jackpot with the nice one. So he was out of, I believe it was Newport.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Good. What was his name?
Oscar.
Oscar. All right. Well, cool. I'm glad to hear that. 540 Slinger, congratulations on your Thunderbird charter. You had some awesome anglers on board with you. And Goshishi is Sean Yamamoto. You know Sean?
Of course.
All right. There we go.
Now you got. Had a feeling, but
All right, so let's go to let's. Jeff is making a comment about the Thunderbird. You got a bunch of great anglers on there. Just start talking about that. I might have to break in with questions because I don't want them to go away. But
well, I booked this year. I do a private charter every year, and I did it this year on the Thunderbird. So I
first time
with them.
Yeah.
On my own personal charter.
Yes.
And so I was like, let me do a little change. So I did it at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. Contacted great operation, from the office, Leanna in the office, and Captain Markland, tying
He's
it
a funny
in.
guy.
Oh, he's great.
Right? Yeah.
Great.
He's an entertainer, but he knows his stuff.
But he knows his stuff.
And
He
he fishes hard.
Yeah, and let me tell you, he calls me and he goes, all right, Dave, the weather's going to be horrible. And I've been watching it going, I don't know, I don't know. What are we going to do? Go drift for 2 days for halibut along the beach, whatever, right?
Yeah, right.
I just wanted to get out. And so we talked, and then he calls me the night before and says that stuff's moved in really close. And then the night we were going out.
Talking about the bluefin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes, they're 65 miles out.
Wow. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's Clemente.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I had some clients, sponsors, some friends on the trip. Sean Yamamoto was on there. And I had Jeff Pry. I can go on and name a lot of people, but it was a great group. There was 16 of us. And
wow, that's a big boat for 16, huh? So you guys had a ball.
Oh, it was awesome. We had a kid that got his first triple digit, Ryan. So he had a good time. And we went out. It was Friday night by, I want to say 4 a.m. is when we started fishing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you got a little night bite there. I don't know if you got a night bite, but you got a piece of it.
It was weird. Like the night, it was almost like just at sundown, and right before sunup is when we had our best bites.
Yeah.
And then, really here and there during the regular days.
Daytime scratching,
yeah,
right?
Saturday we got beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, we were getting beat up.
Yeah.
It was tough, but that boat handles it really, really well. So if there's a boat, that one, it handles it.
Frickin' wind this year has been a pain in the butt,
cold,
man.
But we got some fish, and we got them on the sinker rig setups, we got them on Colt snipers, we got them on West Coast jigger, knife jigs, some SK jigs, and we were using, that sinker rig fishing. Pretty awesome right now, and I want to say somebody got one fly lining also on a 100-pound, which sounds super fun, right? But that sinker rig, a 100-pound Spectra, 130-pound line with 4/0 hooks. We were using, one of the fellows got one with the mackerel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
We're going to get back into that. Let me catch up here, David, because you got a lot of fans out there, that's for sure. Pescando con Edward y sus aventuras says, hello, Phil. And thanks us for the great info tonight.
I just subscribed to his.
You
plate.
did?
Yeah,
Great.
Because I met him at Island Tackle for a brief second.
Yeah,
I don't think he remembers, but you interviewed him from his trip.
And I asked you, do you think this will be a good interview? You go, absolutely. The guy was just on the Pacifica and, has information to share. Just as,
and
just
all
like
of a sudden,
you.
here I am.
I know.
Right? It's like, oh, no.
I'm not letting you go either.
Yeah.
You're staying all night. Trevante Johnson, super great guy. His son Noah, they were both on a trip with us on board the Amigo. Horrible weather. This was last year.
Okay.
We got shellacked at Nicholas, and then we got pretty shellacked at Santa Barbara Island, but we had a great time. When Trevante's on board, it's always fun. And Noah schooled everybody. I'm trying to remember, Trevante, you can fill me in, but I think we had 3 yellows. I think a guy named Bill had one, and Trevante's son Noah had the other 2. So he did great, and it's great. So he says, is it the 15th? Yeah, our next charter on June the 15th. Not yet, but we're planning. In fact, I had a long talk with Mark Paisano, who's running the boat, about some strategies. Still too early, but one of the possibilities would be to fish Clemente, hope for a yellowtail bite, and then maybe leave there a little early, end up on the 43 at sundown, and then you got that nighttime bite,
We're
man.
there right now.
Yeah, I mean, that could be magical if that. But a long time until we get there. Curtis Berger. Hey guys, I'm going on a 1.5 day trip on the Excalibur for June 27th to 29th. Do you think the big tuna will still be out there?
I believe so. They're going to be here for. They keep popping in and out, and I think you'll have your chances will be pretty good. If not, just have fun with that 40, 50 pound stuff. But don't sleep on that bigger stuff. Go deep. That's how we were getting most of them.
Okay, is that a tip that people should know?
Yeah,
those bigger fish are deeper, right?
Yeah, they were down deep.
Does that mean using a heavier jig or a knife jig that gets down faster?
For us during the day, yes. If they're there in the night, even during the day, possibly. Because it is darker down there, right? But,
yeah, right.
But I don't know. Maybe the sinker rig, down deep, seemed to be very effective. Even the Colt snipers.
Yeah, I mean, Brian was just there, and he was using Colt snipers on the San Diego.
Yeah, they were getting licked on the trip.
Really?
Yeah.
How deep?
I think we were looking at 300 feet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
So 3 to 4. So that's where we're getting them.
Wow, that is crazy. All right, Travante's all excited about going on this next trip, and so is Brandon. Can't wait to meet you. He says to Travante, Noah had too. Yeah, schooled us all, that's for sure. Slam and Sammy, what was the tackle used on the Thunderbird landing? 3 sounds like you shined. Yeah, you had 3 fish?
Yeah.
Wow, you did shine.
Well.
Were you the top dog?
No.
Whoa, who beat you?
Sean.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Sean, Jeff Price. There was some.
There's some hot sticks.
There's that whole. Everybody on that boat was hot.
Yeah.
Great people, and it was awesome. But I, believe it or not, was having fun and dropped 30-pound test.
Oh, you did?
On a number 6 hook.
Oh my God.
And went for it.
How was it?
I was like, I'm gonna have fun. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Do what you want.
It's my charter. No,
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. That's what I did. Some of the guys were doing 60 to 100. Like I said, they were getting. We had one guy hook one, a good one on 40-pound, and that 40-pound finally gave up.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot, that is so much fun.
After a while, yeah, it was fun. But no, I went for it. Mine weren't big. Maybe 25, 40 pounds. Yeah.
You were saying a moment ago that fishing is soul cleansing for you. What do you mean by that? What?
It's I think a lot of us might understand, like when you're hungry and you start getting that hangry. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that endorphin kick in.
Yeah.
On the fishing, I used to get it a lot when I surfed. I used to surf a lot years ago.
Yeah.
And
so you're a waterman. Well, we used to call watermen guys that were just around
surf,
the water.
dive,
yeah,
and
surf,
doing
dive,
stuff.
fish.
Yeah. And that was my passion at one time. That and fishing back then, but I haven't surfed in years. But it's the same thing. You just feel good. You got it's just I don't know. This energy with it. You know, it just.
And so you were talking about, like, without it, you get a little I mean, if you go a long time, you get tense and maybe a little angry.
Something
a little bit crabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's weird. But
you got to get a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I got to help somebody out, give them something, some tackle or something. I really like to give people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff,
Professor, Felipe Diaz is here also. Professor Maestro, that's you.
It's my cousin, Felipe.
Did you? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right on, Felipe. Es mi nombre también, Felipe. Buenas tardes. Did you all get bit at all on the troll? I'm going to fish the Mad Max during our downtime on our second day aboard the Amigo on the 15th.
We tried it, and we didn't get a bite, but we were trying. Maybe we weren't far back. I try to get far back. The first one, I got to go see Sam at the shop because I let my first one out, and at the 100 mark, it just, as soon as I put tension, it just broke.
We're dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want to remove all the spectra and just start over.
Yeah.
I don't even want to splice. Just want a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So then I dropped another one out. Another fella had one, and this guy Randy, great guy, and we both trolled and we didn't get bit. But give it a shot.
Yeah, you got to try. Pescando con Edward y sus aventuras. Tuna still biting very good. I'm going on a 2-day trip Friday, June 10th on the Aztec. Why isn't Eduardo going with me on a trip? What's wrong with him, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
It's going on a
All
weekday.
right. Good luck. Hope you get them.
Yeah.
And he's right. They are biting good. You also mentioned, hey, those little ones, those 40, 50 pounders, have fun with those too. There was a time when a 40 to 50 pound bluefin
We'll
tuna.
sell everything out.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I got a 40, 50 pounder. Damn.
Try not to get spoiled. You
Yeah.
know, you have to adjust your tackle. I think to have fun with it, right?
Yeah, I guess, and just realize how blessed we are, because someday these things are not going to be here. I hope that's not true, but it's very probable that someday they're not going to be here, or
Yeah,
they're going
who
to disappear
knows?
for a while.
Yeah, but I heard the rumor, you
Yeah.
know, and well, I don't think it's a rumor, right? Was it on Wendy from Iserline was talking about that they knew some folks that said they were spawning offshore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's confirmed. If she says it is, take it to the
Yeah.
bank. Wendy's awesome, but yeah, it seems like they've almost taken up
It
residence
was
here,
on the
right?
show, yeah,
Yeah.
because there was some scientists that seen them, or marine biologists, someone on the science side. I don't know exactly how far out. Could have been 200 miles out, but they were breeding. They were seen breeding, and then there's 5-pound bluefin out in that area.
Oh, wow.
And from what I understand, they need to be about 10 pounds or bigger to make the crossing if they were actually being born in the,
Oh, okay.
in the Japan side. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
I assume they grow fat, like a year fish is. I don't
Something,
know. I know
yeah.
an albacore is like 15 to 20 pounds. Incidentally, the albacore forecast has been updated with fisheries expert Bob Osborne, and you should listen to it because Bob goes through all the SSTs. He compares the 2008 season to today, and wow, you're going to love what you see. I mean, in terms of the oceanography and whether there's a highway for albacore to get in here. I know you're smiling like, here he goes again with his albacore nonsense.
We were in some very nice water, I'll tell you. Although we found
Was it purple?
Yes. Although we also were in 67-degree water.
Yeah.
But it was very purple, clean water, and I was like, yeah. But
I know. So anyway, Bob's got that up there, and I think you'll find that very interesting. Go Shishi, Dave was an amazing host. I believe. I mean, I not only believe that. Nobody would have to tell me that. Amazing host. He spent more time taking care of us.
I did.
That's the kind of person you are. That's why you're here. Because you're not arrogant. I can't take that arrogant stuff. Somebody's arrogant, I'm just over it.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And you're down to earth, and you're willing to teach others, and that's exactly what he's saying there.
Yeah, I get satisfaction out of that too, watching somebody get their fish. I'll give an example real quick. One of the kids that I brought, I call him a kid, he's probably in his 30s, but he's still, still young.
Yeah,
and
I call them kids too.
And I met him on Facebook, and he was asking a lot of questions, and I helped him out. And I said, hey, why don't you come down to my house? I'll hook you up. I'll braise some rings on his stuff and set him up. He went on a trip that wasn't so well for him, and so it was him and I. And I go, hey, you know what? How about you jump on with this group? I got these folks that fish, and he got his first triple digit on it.
Whoa,
had a great
wow.
time, yeah. And everybody rooted for him. Everyone staying out of his way. Yeah, it was awesome.
That is so nice to fish on a charter where it's a team. And
Yeah.
you're all working together.
Yeah.
And you get satisfaction out of seeing someone else land a fish. That's pitching.
Yeah. So he hooked it up in a spot where I think there was, I want to say we had about 5 hookups. 2 of them were landed. So it was a good one.
That's great. Yeah, when I'm on a trip now, I've caught a lot, I haven't caught a big tuna. I'm not like one of these big tuna, but I'm filming all the time. And I get more satisfaction out of Travante having a video of his son Noah school everybody for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
And I know that now, and I get a lot of pleasure out of that. So I have no trouble. Once in a while, I'll drop something, I'll jig down like I did and throw a yellow on or something. And I love that too.
Yeah.
And when we're rock cod fishing, I've got to drop down. You know that. I love that.
Yeah.
But I know, I understand where you're coming from. I totally get it. So Slam and Sammy's asking, and I think we've answered this, but he may not have heard the answer. What do you think about the new sinker rig setup for Bluefin? How do you like it?
I liked it because I don't have the patience to drop slow.
Yeah.
I feel just like, I've heard where you're not going to scope out if you're trying to get down in a hurry, right? Sometimes we know you need to get down to that fish before they move out of out of your way, or you got to wait for them to come back. But it worked on our trip, and
GW Hey Dave wants to know, does it work on the bigger bluefin?
that's how we got them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, 4/0 hooks.
Really?
Instead of the little, 1/0 or 2/0, they were using 4/0.
And how heavy mono or
130 pound floral.
130?
130,
Wow.
where we felt you can go even as heavy as 40 pound on your fluorocarbon sinker end,
Oh, okay.
just because we had wind and the current to contend with. So we were sticking with that so we wouldn't lose it, and it would break off.
How bad was the wind? It was bad on
25
Saturday, right?
knots or something. Yeah.
25?
So I think so.
Well,
something
that's
like that.
kind of
It
spitbox,
was
right?
there, yeah, it was.
What are you going to do, man?
I
You got to
felt
deal with it.
I felt it, but
Yep.
it was fun. What
Yeah,
are you
one of
gonna
the
do?
best trips we had on the Amigo, when I got down here, I'd already been looking at the weather. I looked at my two kids. I go, hey, come here. We're screwed. There's no way. And so then Jeff comes walking up right after that and says, the Independence had 177 yellows on Cortez Bank. And I go, can we make that? And he goes, we're sure as hell going to try.
All right.
And we did it. We made it. And we creamed the yellows and got limits of bluefin the next day. When you think all is going down the drain sometimes,
Works out.
yeah, right? It's so cool. I
That was
really,
our
really
trip.
like it.
Yeah,
Jeff wants to know, 540 Slinger. Do you know Jeff Yeomans?
I do. He
Okay.
remember Jeff did
Yeah.
the casting contest.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And he
He
was.
fishes with a buddy of mine, Richard,
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not
or a
surprised.
buddy of ours.
I'm not surprised Jeff is asking this question. Was anyone dropping old school jigs like Chrome 6X Juniors or Chrome 4Os?
I was.
David Maestro was.
I think I spent more than 70% of my time dropping that, trying than I should have been doing. If I sticking with the sinker rig or knife jigs, I was just trying to get bit. I don't know. It works well for me in the early spring, and then I always have trouble later in the season.
You're talking about it worked
The Salis 6X
on the
Chroma.
tuna?
Yeah.
In the early
That's
spring?
what I use for the bluefin.
Really?
Oh yeah.
and then it progressively gets worse.
I don't know. I don't know. It's probably just me.
Maybe, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right. I made Pescando Kona Edward y sus aventuras feel bad. Phil, I'll look at your trips and see if I can book one here coming up. I'm
yeah.
only kidding you, Edward. Whatever you can do. Maestro is right, Phil. A mature bluefin can only mate at a minimum of 143 pounds. Love the information being spoken about. So there you are.
All right.
Excellent stuff. Dave is a great spokesperson for what's going on with our bluefin tuna world. Go Dave. That's GW Dave.
All right.
Or no,
Thanks.
that's GW. You're Dave. I'm all screwed up here. Hey, that's why you're here, man. That's so true. You got this dialed in. How important is fluorocarbon to getting a bite? Does it ever enter your mind that it's not necessary and you're not going to use it?
I hear both. I use it.
Yeah.
I use it, and but I've seen people get bit without it. But I'm a believer in it, except, not night. And even the abrasion resistance, I just go heavy. I'll drop 400 pound and just save on that cost. The fluorocarbon I'll use during the day, and at night I give them ropes.
Straight mono. Yeah, because it doesn't matter at night. They can't see it, right?
You're not reflecting any light.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But during the day I do. And GW, I think that's who my dad.
Really? Oh.
Who I call my dad, I think.
Oh shoot!
It could be, yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute, but we got so many questions we got to catch up. Ruben Lopez, Ruben, it's great to see you and your family. Maybe your family's not there, but it's good to see you. How do you pin the bait on the 4.0 hook?
With this specific dropper loop, sinker rig setup, not dropper loop. You want to go through the bottom of the jaw and up through the nose to keep the mouth shut, because you're going to drop at a high rate, fast rate, like if you're dropping for rock cod. So you don't want that mouth opening up, or you're going to kill your bait.
Yeah.
And that's really the only way you're going to set that up to make it work.
Yeah.
Versus the old school way and dropping it slower. And it worked. It worked out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ruben, great question. Gary Mizuhara, David will never be a big head. Helps everyone. I know that. That's why you're here.
You can't. You got to be humble.
Ed Nisbet just fished the Cobalt 6-pack with no rail and had a hard time wrestling that beast. Any tips of a better way?
Yeah, if you're not railing, You can look at the guys that are fast jigging, like those West Coast jigger fellas, or other people that do the fast jig, or what you call slow pitch. I think it's the fast jig more so. But even I do this on a long rod. I'm always trying to catch me 150 to 200 pound bluefin on a long rod, 10-foot rod that Sam had, and they were CalStar 100J mags. And what you do on the rods is I just point it and let the reel, is why you have your reels for. These modern reels are a lot stronger, is let that do all the power and point the rod at it and just rock back and forth. And so all you got to do is just rock that rod back and forth when you don't have a rail. Point the rod at the fish and wind. I learned that tip from Jamie Mason at Bob Sands, and then another fellow fishing with years ago.
I see Eddie Leland doing that a lot. He tells me that's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
So
my great friend, he tackled his big fish that way.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. You'll never get tired. You cannot get tired that way.
Excellent. Give us a like out there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for being with us. Slammin' Sammy wants to know, how do you fish that 7X for bluefin? Sounds interesting.
Oh, the 7, we're talking about?
I think the old school lure, 7X.
6X Junior?
It says 7X, but 6X maybe.
Yeah, well, any lure, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I will do a mono. For me now, I used to not be a mono top shot guy until, this year. And I tie a 130 to 150 pound fluorocarbon leader, and then I tie a 2x2, or what they call a springer knot, to the jig. And I don't do crimp on it, and then that's what I use. And I just drop it straight down, and I wind up a few, drop it, and wind up, almost like if we were yo-yo fishing.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect. Excellent. So Chris Bailey, this is the kind of guy that this show is for. New guy. So it's a new guy question. Dave and Phil, I am launching out of Shelter Island Friday, Saturday. I have only been fishing saltwater for the past year. Welcome, Chris.
Yeah,
welcome to the sport and to the show. My thoughts were to head down to the Coronados. Will I have a chance to find bluefin in that direction, or should I head to the corner? I appreciate the info. I think that the info's out on where the fish are.
Yeah,
right? We can say the 43.
Yeah, that's your best bet. But they've caught them out at Coronado, but right now I'm not hearing anything. If they were, I think the local full day boats would probably be fishing that to save on fuel now, right? If there was bluefin around that island. So yeah, head towards the corner in the 43 area. That's where they're at.
I think that's where you want to go, Chris. I know there's still a little bit of fish down there off Puerto Nuevo and down that way, but where you want to go is the 43 right now. That's where you guys were?
There was tons. When that bite goes off, with all that fish we saw, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that I'm hearing. The guys on the San Diego, they had 3 bluefin yesterday. I bet they got them today. I haven't checked. But they don't go 2 days in a row, usually. But they said the volume of fish is mind-boggling. Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah.
You saw a lot of fish?
We saw a lot. I was speaking with Captain Markland, and he was talking to me that there's a lot of fish he was seeing out there.
Right on. Joe May says, smash the like button. Thank you, Joe. Please give us a like. My friends, GW, do you like bling on daytime setups, evening setups? Right, bling? Yeah. Do you like
bling being as in
shiny jigs, maybe? Or?
Yeah, I'd prefer shiny. I'm not a glow jig kind of guy.
Yeah.
If that's what you're referring to.
Yep.
Something shiny. If one side of it is glow, can I show real quick?
Sure.
But, absolutely.
For an
example,
just
right?
Put it right up to that camera.
Something like these West Coast jigs right here, right? But it has this side. Yeah, I don't light it up or nothing, but if that's what you're talking about, just plain drop it down.
Is this one of your favorite jigs?
Yes.
Why? Because it worked.
I don't know. These guys, they've been proving these to get bit really well. But I know that the rip rollers. I've gotten fish on the rip rollers. There's Johnny's jigs out there, right? Bunch of other stuff.
Where can you find these?
These from the West Coast Jiggers group on Facebook. They carry these. There's James Kakawa who has them, and they get bit.
And we're going to give a couple of those away tonight to
I
our
did.
Patreon members.
I brought a 200 gram and a 300 gram to give to your Patreon members.
West Coast Jiggers, are they responsible also? Well, we thank them for producing such a great jig, and
I
thank
just
you.
thought I'd bring it because I
Thank
had
you.
them, and I always like to give something.
Thank you. Blue Skies, recommend braid with mono or fluorocarbon, he says, but I think or fluorocarbon.
You know, well, rough seas, I like to have the mono, just for the stretch.
Yep.
Mono, right? And then I'll do the fluorocarbon, tied to the mono. But if you're fishing the jigs, just mono, straight up, straight down, nighttime stuff. Daytime, and like I said, the mono with the fluorocarbon. If you're fishing even the stealthy way, even the mono with the fluorocarbon, I'm starting to see it work. I went away from it years ago, and I see it starting to work. Well, I'm paying attention to it more, I should say.
Yeah.
And, I'm not afraid of using it again.
You are blazing this show tonight. There's such great
appreciate it.
information, and you answer so concisely, and I'm able to keep up with the questions because you do such a great job. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it.
Tony Gonzalez, I own a Macaira 16 with 580 yards of 100-pound braid with 30 foot of 100-pound mono. Is that enough line for a setup for the BFT?
Yes, I have a Macaira 16 that has 500 yards, and pull hard. I like to pull hard. Give him his very first run and then rip his lips. That's my thing. Don't be afraid to fish a heavy drag, but you got to let him have his first run or so, and then slowly engage into that heavier drag. That's just my style, though. And David Choate, Wahoo Dad.
Yeah,
familiar. Yeah,
he's been here.
I used to pick his brain also years, and he's the one that would explain that to me, and I remember him bringing that up too. And I'm like, I know that. You got to refrain.
He's an awesome guy. Great fisherman and so enthusiastic about the sport.
But to answer your question, yes, you're fine with that.
Very good. Chris Bailey, the guy that we told to go to the 43, just wanted to thank us both. So,
you're welcome.
Chris, good luck. Be safe out there. And send us a photo of that giant bluefin that you're about to
check
catch.
It out.
Mike Morrison.
All right. Hey, Mike.
Aren't you supposed to be watching your kids or something tonight, Morrison? What's with you? Don't forget to hit the like button. So he's buttering me up, and then come out and go fishing.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's got a nice group of boats sitting out here.
Got a great bunch of boats. You got the Freedom, who's going to go to Clemente or wherever. Maybe get on that Bluefin here pretty soon. We've got this local situation. Brian Burrell was telling me that it's not there yet, but it's close. And I can feel that. One thing, this whole coastal region is not getting the wind. So the conditions are able to recuperate. The water gets warmer and cleaner. So, that sand bass bite today on the Victory, great signal. I think by the weekend, somebody gets 50 to 100 barracuda.
That'd be nice. I want to get my kids out here. They're almost done with summer, so we'll be out here, Mike.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let me know when you go. I'll come out and shoot some video. That's another fishery I love, though. I can't resist not throwing a jig at a barracuda.
That's always fun.
It's so much fun. Yeah, poor man's wahoo, right?
Hey, yeah. What do they say? The tug is the drug?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jeff, a 540 slinger. I told you. Thank you, Jeff. I believe the San Diego got 30 bluefin tuna today. And I said on the morning briefing this morning, they had 3 fish. They saw a lot. I'm guessing they get a good shot. And that 30 bluefin tuna is some damn good shooting on a boat that leaves at 5:30 in the morning.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have a lot of time for error
when
you're doing that. It's pretty darn crazy.
To fish hard on those.
Yeah, excellent. Blue skies. Okay, that should be plenty, I think, Tony. Dino! He's the best guy. Dino's a great guy. You got to meet him sometime. Right. Hooks on top, bottom, or both on flat fall knife style jigs?
I like both. I hear some people
Do you have that?
don't.
Is that jig?
Well, the reason being I rigged one on the bottom is because I like to rig my own leader, and it has its hook attached to the leader, and I just do a heavy duty split ring, the number 9 split ring, at least 320 pounds. I wouldn't recommend any lower than that on the Owner Ultra. And then I could just attach it to the rings that I've already brazed on here and tested them to 70 pounds and just hook it up to there, and you have 2. Some people, I don't know, they talk about them getting hooked sideways and they have a hard time pulling it, but I don't know. I've had them hooked on the side, never had a hard time. You just gotta pull.
All right, good stuff. Tony Gonzalez says, thanks. I'll pull as hard as I can. He's the guy that asked whether the Macaira, you can pull pretty hard with that,
Yeah,
can't
just
you?
set your drag perfect though. Have it set up. I recommend scale setting. Some people don't. I do. 25 pounds of drag. What you're used to, 25 or 30. I don't know. At strike, but that depends on the person.
Kai Fish Killer, and we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, Kai, but thanks for reiterating this. The white sea bass went nuts today in Oxnard area. What are your thoughts on how to fish them? I mean, I was saying on the morning briefing, they're going to get a weather window, and I believe this weather window is going to go through the weekend. I think Sunday afternoon there's a forecast for some wind. I think they get them again tomorrow because that's all that's been stopping them up there, right?
Yeah, and this whole weekend is going to be nice.
I mean, dropper loops are a great way up there. What do you suggest?
I use the old what's that, like the lead head, chrome lead head, or not chrome, but the glow red lead head.
Yeah.
And pinch on a squid and let it sink. I've also done the bobber method where you can adjust if you're in shallow water.
Really short water.
Short water, right? But I don't know if these boats are in that short water or not. But that's if you're on a private boat, that's.
You know what blows me away about that bite up there, David, is that those guys actually run and gun on these sea bass. They run and gun from sonar mark to sonar mark. And there was a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was on board. I think it was the Endeavor. Yeah, it was the Endeavor with Tucker. And he said, Tucker said, look, and they looked off the bow and there was 40 sea bass shining on the surface. Big fish. He runs up there, shuts down, and they hang 6 of them. So that's pretty remarkable.
I saw a video with Tucker stick one on a jig, so that was cool.
How bitchin' is that?
Yeah.
They fish them entirely different up there than we do here in Catalina.
So,
it's cool. But I think dropper loop, Kai, and as David said, a lead head works at times. I mean, once again, these situations are fluid. They change all the time.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do is walk on board and say, hey.
Listen to the crew. They're there every day.
Right.
That's the thing. That's what I do. Listen to the crew. Listen. That's who's going to tell you, and people that have been coming off the trips, see if they're putting out any reports. Social media now is a wealth of knowledge out there. There's some people out there are willing to share it and take advantage.
Yep. Blue Sky says, nice show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Hit the like button if you get a chance. Share this with a friend. Thank you for helping us to grow. Almost 100,000 views in the last 28 days. Thanks to you. And what was it? 11,000, pushing up toward 11,000 hours. That's mind-boggling.
I want to thank my wife for letting me get out and fish.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to have some cooperation from the family to let you go.
Yeah.
Yours is a little different. My wife, when I say, "Hey, I think I'm going to China for a few years," go, get out of my hair. I'm kidding. She was actually a little upset with me, but the smart wife, in my opinion, looks at a guy who's going fishing and says, he could be doing so many other things than fishing.
Yeah.
You know the kind of things I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And fishing is, so go fishing, get it out of your system, and then get your butt back here and we'll do family stuff, right?
Yeah.
And obviously your wife has figured that out.
Yeah, she loves fishing too, and actually, her and I talked about maybe doing a Puerto Vallarta next year.
So that would be fun.
I was like, hey, how would you love to do this? And she goes, she's down.
That sounds awesome. A guy, do you know this guy? Samuel de la Torre. I know
What's up,
Sam de la Torre, Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Wish I was there. We wish he was here too.
The invite was there, but
just getting off work. All right, do you use 200, 300, 400, or 500 gram jigs? I've lost who that was, but what do you like?
Weather dependent.
Yeah.
Again, for me, I've gone as far, I've tried the 500 gram, but then I could go back to the 400 gram. Been bit on the 400 gram quite often. But I'll try the 300. I'll cast off and let it go up and down. But if there's too much scope, then I'll stick to the 400. I try to battle into the 400 because that 500 starts to weigh. Because I fish a 50 Macaira, and I'm adding a lot of weight.
Yeah, you are. Al Sanchez, scale is the way to go. Maybe he's talking about adjusting your drag.
Yeah,
he's right.
I'm a big believer. I test off the reel. A lot of people think off the rod. Cal Sheet told me always off the reel, and that's what I stick with.
Al Sanchez, sliding egg sinker for white sea bass. Yeah, they do that up there. Al, you're absolutely right. When Tucker sees these fish on the surface, you're not dropping with an 8-ounce torpedo there. Absolutely. Good advice. That is something we definitely want to do. All right. Let's see. What do we have? We got N6UN. Is a chrome with see-through blue a hot color for bluefin tuna?
Is that like a nomad? But if it's got chrome, it's got something shiny, it's got blue, I give it a shot.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Some guy caught one on, last week I mentioned that a guy caught one on a torpedo sinker with a hook on it.
Yeah, you can get them all knocked, because it doesn't even have to be chrome jigs. You could drop those old school blue and whites how we used to do it years ago.
Yeah. Kai Fish Killer. I've been lucky to catch 18Y sea bass fishing in my lifetime. Largest, 32 pounds. Nice going.
Right.
I found sometimes with less current, I use a dropper loop around here, but an egg, sinker, bead, and swivel instead. All right, so he fishes up there. Great advice. We like it. Slammin' Sammy wants to know, how'd you start fishing? How'd you get into fishing?
All right. Well, my mom, back when I was 7 years old, she didn't want us falling into trouble because I had some brothers that were,
falling into trouble
with the wrong folks in Redondo.
Yeah.
And we lived in Redondo, or my family did then. And right when I was born, we moved to Lawndale, and my mom started taking us to Hermosa Beach Pier. And that's where I started fishing with my 2 older brothers and my nephews. And when I say nephews, are 5 years older than I am. So we started fishing there, and over the years, I want to say when I was about 10 years old, we started spending the night on the pier.
Oh, wow, how bitchin'. Great memories, I'm sure.
And in 1982, I was getting my first yellowtail, came off the pier in Hermosa. It was a strong El Nino year.
Yeah.
And we would get limits of yellowtail off the rocks in Redondo.
I remember
and the
those
pier
years.
in Hermosa.
Pretty bitchin'.
Yeah,
huh?
and then we'd go to the barge and fish. Maybe Sam was working at that time. I don't know when I know he worked on the barge.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have.
Yeah.
Sam, we're asking a question.
Yeah, but so my mom would take us all the time. Then we started riding our bike, to the beach all the time, and fashioned these little tubes and started carrying our rods.
How cool, man.
And off we would go to fish the pier, or we would sneak into Pollywog Park in Manhattan Beach.
Oh, right.
They had tall grass.
Yeah,
and we'd take a loaf of bread, and my mom would get mad, because, hey, where's the bread? And we
You guys are fishing
pull all
with it.
these catfish, all the time out
That
of there.
is
And then
cool.
we'd fish Alondra.
So it sounds like you broke the law to go fishing a few
Had
times.
to do something.
Yeah.
I guess we got into trouble to keep, but.
I actually there was a place in Basin 3 where the boats dock, and I was fishing for bonita there, and a cop pulls up, and we go to run, and he got us, and he wrote us. I had to go to court on that.
Wow.
And so we were standing in front of the judge, and my mom kind of told me what to say and what to do, and the judge goes, get out of here, don't worry about it.
Wow,
But yeah, it's funny,
We used to get big bonita off the pier too.
Heck
'cause
yeah.
We would cast an 8-ounce weight and make a slider rig with
Oh, you're talking about that where you slide the chovy down? Or
yeah,
that was bitchin', wasn't
We
it?
put a treble hook and get a sardine or a mackerel or chovies. Back then they had a taco shop on Hermosa Pier.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, heck yeah.
I had a lot of pictures I'd like to get a hold of. If anybody here knows,
Yeah.
I'd like to get a hold of some of the family pictures back. But
That slider rig was
yeah,
bitchin',
we'd
wasn't
get
it?
big 10-pound bonita.
Yeah, I remember
big
that.
yellows, yeah.
Kaylee Maestro. Is that any relation?
Callie.
Callie.
From Iowa. This is from Iowa.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, watching from Iowa. What's
People
up?
from
What's up,
Iowa.
nephew?
Nice to have you with us, Callie. What's the best color lure for fishing tuna? You have a preference? Yeah, you don't, do you?
No.
Anything works?
Anything. I throw
Is
anything.
it more of how the methodology of retrieving it?
Well, actually, no. I like to go darker in the dark, a little brighter in the light.
Yeah.
That's what I go with.
Perfect. Gustavo Prieto, best knot blade to fluoro to mono.
Braid to fluoro, I like to do, and I have it right here, see, so I don't forget. I use the F, it all depends on my mood. How much time do I have to prepare?
You're not going to say the F word, are you?
No.
This is a family show. I heard you say F. Just kidding.
Right?
I'm kidding.
So if I'm preparing at home prior to the trip, I'm doing an FG or a PR bobbin knot. If I'm on the boat, I'm going to do an FG or a improved Tony Pena knot. And then I'll do a uni to uni because I just can't tie a Seagar knot for the life of me. But I'll do a uni to uni and it works for me. And then from that connection I do now If it's heavier line, 50 or heavier, I do a 2x2, what they call the Springer. If it's lighter, I do a 4-turn uni.
You are so knowledgeable on this stuff. Way to go, man.
All right, I appreciate
Good
it.
stuff, man. And normally I might want to spend more time on some of these topics. You have so many fans and questions coming in
This
here.
is awesome.
We got to stay up with it.
I appreciate the support.
Thank you, man. Go She says, would love to hear your dream setup for cow bluefin tuna. Rod, reel, line, yards, jig, and hooks. Woo!
Right now, my new one that I want to try, that I want to call my dream setup, is that new CPX Raptor. CPX 80 Raptor. I had it for a split second on our trip, but it went back to the builder.
Yeah.
And a 12 Vizix, because I like to fish dumb sometimes, and a 12 Vizix with 80-pound line, and see what I can do with it.
Excellent.
That is mine, because right now I have a Makira 50 on a 310 Rod Works over there at Darren Dowie. Great person, great guy, wealth of knowledge.
Darren was great. He was
Awesome,
such a great
awesome
guest.
guy.
Darren, hello. I know you're out there.
Yeah, what's up?
You better be.
Yeah. He has that Deviant that they had made for them.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty heavy duty rod, but I like to use that. But those are, I should say, two categories there. Although I can't kick out the Viper, but right now I want to try that lower end and see what I can do with that.
Tony Gonzalez, thanks to you as well, both of us, Phil and everyone, the host and behind the camera, always learning something new. Yeah, that guy behind the camera is really working hard tonight,
Awesome,
right?
Yeah. This Sean guy was on fire on this trip.
Oh, Ruben M. Hey, bro, awesome trip on the Thunderbird. Your bro, Ruben, deep.
Runner.
Yeah.
Ruben Maestros, my brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So he had a great trip. Sam De La Torre has what years? ? Sam, we're trying to figure out what years you worked on board the, what's this?
The barge.
We got a dog in here. Oh. Yeah, the barge. What years did you work on the barge?
We have a new fan. We have a furry fan.
All right, he left. Yeah, I thought he was going to tangle up the mic.
But yeah, we used to do shark fishing off the barge too. Now, talking about the white sea bass real quick, my one and only white sea bass I ever caught was off Hermosa Pier. Legal.
One white sea bass?
Off a legal one.
Oh, yeah. You've only got one white sea bass?
Yeah, because I've never, the only time I've really gone trying after him was on the Dreamer.
Okay.
And I've never really dedicated any time towards him, but once on the Dreamer, and we ended up getting big 35-pound, 30-pound yellows off the Farnsworth because it wasn't working for the
nothing wrong with that, right?
No, and then all they ate was mackerel. We had tanks full of squid, and all they wanted was the mackerel.
Oh, yeah, I know. That bite out there sometimes is a mackerel bite. Yeah.
And it was on.
Sea bass fishing's pretty cool, but those things are squirrelier than bluefin,
so
right?
it's on a little perch off the pier on a slider.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. And you had a legal sea bass.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Ruben M. going for hammerheads at Hermosa Beach.
Yes, back in 82, right? Raymond Francois, 400-pound hammerhead. And then we used to all fish those hammerheads and thresher sharks. My brother Ruben used to get them on diamond jigs. And it was cool.
Hammerheads?
Thresher sharks, but the hammerheads, we'd get...
We're around there too?
Oh, yeah, we'd fillet up the bonita and slide them out.
Wow. I remember those years. N6UN, I like the video about the new technique. That's Sam. He did that sinker rig replacement of dropper loops for yellowtail. Couldn't agree more. Surface iron setup. Slam and Sammy wants to know what's your go-to.
My go-to that I like.
And Jeff is asking your go-to surface iron. Setup and surface
iron. My go-to is if I'm fishing 40-pound line setup for yellows or smaller tuna, I'm fishing a CUI blank that I have that was made out of Alabama. It was a 12-foot rod. I cut it down to 10.6, very parabolic, awesome rod, beautiful rod. It's the one I was using in the casting contest.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then my number one favorite now that I think is going to be the one I'm going to use all around, I fished 60-pound test on it on a Fathom 30 2-speed lever drag, which I don't know. I hear this star. I can throw a lever drag. I'm sure a lot of people can. I just prefer it because I'm going after bigger fish with it.
Yeah.
And it's on the CalStar BTG 100J mag that Sicario made for me.
Oh, okay.
Freddie Magana.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
he's great.
Oh,
Freddie's great.
He's building 11 rods right now. So
And he did a great video for us. Did you see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did a great job. He's a very personable guy, very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Freddie. I hope you're listening. And did you mention your go-to surface iron?
JRI 4.
Okay.
JRI 4 in mint or what was the other? It was mint and I think it was like a diesel green or something that we had or something.
All right, very good. The 12 Visics, Sam De La Torre. The 12 Visics, oh yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He's the one that, speaking with him, and he's the one that, I'm always picking his brain, and he's the one that talked me into, or telling me how fun it would be, and it sounds like fun, and that's what I can see with that Raptor rod and the 12 Visics, perfect, small. Oh, man, I can feel that.
Sam De La Torre says, what about spinning?
That's what you're working on with me there, Sam. So I've been over there. I'm getting my first spinning rod built.
Oh, you're going to do that? I am too.
Give it a shot.
I'm all in. There's a few of these fish starting to be taken on poppers.
Yeah.
And you can't fish poppers without a spinner.
Yeah. And I'm always willing to try something new, something different. I want to have fun. I'm even getting I'm going to have a fast pitch jigging rod made, one of the United Composite Zeus number 4. Maybe there's something else different. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, why not?
Let's see.
Thanks for all the likes, everybody. If you haven't given us a like, please do. So many people are watching. The response tonight is outstanding because we've got such an outstanding guest, David.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys too making this. It was a lot easier than I thought. Like my great friend George told me, and it was Sean, my brother. Hey, just act like you're talking to somebody. Like I said.
Well, that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what I was thinking. I thought I was going to see an audience, but that's what Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's just two guys talking and people listening in on our conversation, and then they get to enter in. Like Travani Johnson says, man, Phil, you got me Googling and watching at the same time. So much info, so little time, he says.
Yeah. Just,
Thanks, Travani, but it's true. You're spewing out so much great info.
But, I got to give credit to a lot of anglers who I like to fish with and make friends, befriend, that are willing to share the knowledge. They don't have attitudes. They're really cool. They teach you. Sean and I talked a lot on Facebook, and we finally got to fish together. There's Gary Mizuhara too. We always chat. Sam, oh my gosh, I'm always picking his brain, and
Jeff Yeomans and the 540 Club.
they're
all about teaching guys the thrill and the art of throwing the iron.
Yeah, and then I got the group that I fish with, that Brian Burrell that we were talking about. We go on these big bluefin tuna charters.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Price, Mark Lawler, there's Randy, Teresa, and there's a few other guys. I'm sorry if I missed you, but
I know, it happens.
But there are people that are willing to share, and I like to stick with people that are really cool and mellow that way.
Me too.
And then I like to teach others the same way, and if they don't have something, if I could do it, I give it to them, and just because it's the satisfaction of seeing them.
I'm with you.
Something.
And when you hit somebody who's a little arrogant or condescending or makes somebody feel stupid, for lack of a better word, because they don't know something. Man, that just really irritates me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all don't know something about something. In my case, I don't know something about a lot of things.
You learn in every trip. If you're not learning, there's an ego there or something.
Brian Burrell was just there. He's been fishing for 50 years. He says he observes all the time and learns something new on every single trip he goes on.
Yeah, I was doing a knot one time, and he goes, "Hey, what are you tying?"
See?
And then I showed it to him. Then he goes, "I do this," and his was, really nice. So I said, "Well, let me check yours out."
Yeah.
So same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Joe May, hey Dave, do you offer fishing classes in the future? Class would include tying different kinds of knots and matching rods to reel or vice versa.
I don't.
But you should.
I don't. I can help. I can try to help and guide somebody. But here's my thing. You see posts all the time about somebody goes, "Hey, I'm looking for an 80-pound rod or a 100-pound rod." I believe if you're trying to find that, you go to your knowledgeable tackle shop, because there are some out there that aren't, and it's just they're not up in the in the game per se, right?
Yeah.
All the time out there because they're busy running the shop, and maybe they don't have a chance or opportunity to get out there for whatever reason. But always go and pull on rods. I can give you a ton of opinions of what I like, but it probably doesn't fit your style. I don't stick to one brand because every brand is a certain way that I like to fish, and that's why I have multiple brands.
Okay.
All different brands, but it's to what I like.
Yes.
I don't really like softer rods. I like to go heavier, but it's, like I said, always go to a reputable shop.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody who's got your best interest at heart. So, and Sam's one of those guys. There's other guys out there that are...
Go in there and see Sam. He goes, the guys are you going to put on a shirt? You're in here so much.
Yeah, I know.
Funny,
Exactly, man. I mean, Sam, I go in there to do a tackle tip with him, and he's so attentive to his clients. I end up sitting there for 6 hours.
Yeah,
I'm going to move a cot in there so I can take a nap from now on.
I hope you didn't forget your steak that day.
Yeah, I didn't.
All right.
Yeah, and that was because Peter wrote it. Did you see what he did?
No, he wrote it?
Yeah, he wrote it and pinned it on the wall.
All right.
I had a New York steak out, David's talking about, in my car, and it was like 90 degrees in the car. And I thought it was going to be like a half hour. It turned into 6 hours. So I put it in the fridge, and I told Peter, who was back there, when I forget this steak, you and your wife have 2 steaks.
Right.
You have a nice dinner tonight. But I remember, thanks to Peter. He helped me do that.
All right.
Sam said, I worked on the pier from 89 to 94. Wow, he's old. Man. No, I'm only kidding.
Oh, come on.
All right. No, not on the pier, on the barge.
But I knew what he meant.
Yeah, I know he didn't say that. I said it.
So I must have seen him because I used to take my nieces there about 89.
I loved the barge. That was always so much fun. Yeah, it was really fun. I go out there with my brother, and they had the all-night barge.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot with my brother Ruben. Yeah, we'd go and fish makos and soup fin sharks, I want to say, or pinbacks, one of the, whatever it was.
And they used to have those crab traps, and if you took one out there, you'd frickin' just annihilate the crab. Yeah, it was really good. Eddie Leland worked out there a lot, too, so.
Oh, okay.
Good times. Abraham Esparza. Phil and David, enjoying the show. Thank you. What would you recommend I target West Catalina this weekend? Surface or bottom? West end of Catalina Island? I'd definitely give the surface a little bit of a look.
Give it a look. Check out, for novice or beginning fishing people, I don't know how accurate it is, but if you can get on tempbreak.com, it kind of helps you out a little bit to see the temps. But it's going to be warming up this weekend. I know it's going to get up there.
And the weather's going to be nice.
Yeah, so give it a shot.
That
island's got to fire off sooner or later.
Just get on the kelp line if nothing else. There's fish that live in the kelp. And one thing, Abraham, and I don't know if you agree, but I love a chum bucket. So just get that feed in the water. And remember your high school biology, the big ones come to eat the little ones, food chain. If you get that feed going in the water with a chum bucket, it really works. You're on that lip of the kelp or out a little ways. You don't want to be too tight in case you hang a big sea bass and lose it. But try that. Yeah, I agree with David.
And if you have an opportunity, I don't know if you're on a private boat or what, but bounce on the bottom the white 7-inch plastic for that halibut, because I know they're eating those up pretty good, and on the West End not years ago, but maybe it's about 6 years ago, I took my oldest son, and we were on a good yellowtail bite on the native sun.
Oh, cool.
And we were out there, and I'm trying to get him to get bit, so I drop a sinker, a dropper loop for him, and I run over to the tank to go cast out a surface iron, and he's bendo on a legal halibut. He got his 20-pound halibut. Yeah,
a 20 pound. That's a beautiful halibut. Yeah. That's so bitchin'.
Yeah. Then I took him on the pursuit, the following year, and his first yellows were 2 for 2 on that West End.
That's awesome.
74 people back when they used to carry a whole lot.
Oh, God. Yeah, pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, and Gus was so good. He worked deck then, and he was so good with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just paid him ahead of time, said, take care of my son.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Blue Skies, how about that new drop shot style setup for bluefin tuna? Go ahead and comment again.
That's what we used. It was awesome. I don't know if you're asking, I know there's a video on Phil
He's
Friedman's.
saying the drop shot style versus the sinker with rubber band is what he meant.
Oh, okay. For me, I like the drop shot style because, like I said, I don't have the patience to drop slow. So I like to bomb it down. It worked great. I saw it in action, and I know the guys down south are just starting to use that and have been. That's where I got I think a lot of us now got that idea. But it's great. If you're one that doesn't have the patience to drop and get down there immediately, that's a good way. I feel like you're also going to minimize tangles with other people because you don't remember, you're dropping that rubber band one, you're still going to get that helicopter if you get impatient and drop it down. You can grab other lines. I like the drop shot.
Yeah, perfect. I thought Sam De La Torre invented that. Actually, he said
Let's tease him.
he's going to kill me
Yeah,
because he said,
Yeah,
no,
he
I
is.
did not invent this, but I can get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Aha, Sam, taking other people's ideas and calling it your own. No, you
Oh,
didn't do
come
that.
on. Fishing, everything, right?
Exactly. Blue skies. The only thing I worry about for drop shot is the fish will chew the line.
You're fishing a circle hook with a ring. Has to have the ring. You want to tie on one top of the ring, tie on the other bottom part of the ring, because you absolutely need, and I don't know if you see my hand, but this circle hook needs to be pointing upwards.
Okay. Yeah, we can see
Has
that.
to be.
Yeah.
And then that fish has got to be swimming like this. And it's very important for it to work that way. And the only thing you want to, and who cares, you're going to break off is the bottom portion, because that is going to be lighter. You don't want that, although I hear it doesn't matter, they haven't had any issues with that pulling off. And, that's the San Diego PQ boys that
Yeah.
came out with that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Chris wants to know, hey guys, how do you feel about Graph Tech rail rods against Bluefin? And by the way, Joe Patino, thank you for doing this. One of our fine military men made that for me. Great guy, great family guy. How do you
awesome.
feel about those?
They're great rods. I actually gave away 3 on my trip.
Really?
Graph Tech. Yeah, and they're great budget rods. I know Sam has them down at Allen Tackle, and that's where I went and picked them all up and picked up a few toys over there to give away. And no, they're great. I recommended that to the kid that got the triple digit on our trip. He asked me what kind of rod. His rod was a little light for that fish, but he got it. And I said, hey, you know what? Take a look at that 80 to 100 pound Graph Tech rod.
What's that cost?
Like if I could be wrong,
Two something?
239, 259.
Yeah, that's a great deal, right?
Like yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Pescando con Edward y sus aventuras is great chat. David and Phil, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
540 Slinger, that is our friend Jeff Yeomans, whom I love. David's favorite species to fish for.
Now is swordfish.
Really?
Yes.
Have you caught a swordfish?
Yes. Last year,
I haven't even come close to it. So
I'm going to go after him again this year. Hopefully I got to talk to my buddy about it and book some trips with them. And I'm going to try to do at least 5 minimum with them.
Yeah.
Last year, I just got off a day and 3/4 charter I did, and we went deep dropping. It's all hand, no electric reel. And at 900.
And you're deep dropping, right?
Yeah.
Really deep.
Yeah, and we were out there by the 9, and we got 3 bites, 2 solid hookups. I landed a 238 and lost a big one right next to the boat.
How big?
Oh, it was, captain said maybe 300 to 400 pounds
Whoa.
or more. That head was gigantic compared to what we had in the boat.
Yeah.
And he spent about the first 20 minutes fighting me all, just jump in and just flash.
How bitchin'.
Yeah, and then he jumped right next to the boat and the line broke.
Wow, how exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
I used to come into Redondo and fuel on our commercial boat. This was back in the 80s maybe, 70s, late 70s, 80s. Mm-hmm. And Hap Jacobs was a guy, Jacobs surfboards. Mm-hmm. But he was on the fuel dock, and he was a sword fisherman. So he'd always ask me, hey, did you see any swordfish on the way in? But he gave me some swordfish. Is there anything better in the world than fresh swordfish?
I hear it is good.
Yeah. I mean, it is so. Yeah. So not only do you get this incredible battle, but the reward in terms of the awesome. Table fare.
Yeah. So Jeff, to answer the power behind them, their tails are monstrous tails, and they're just giant. It used to be the yellowfin, bluefin. To me, they're I don't know. They're big. Hey, we have them here. Let's use them. Let's fight them. Right? You don't have to travel far. But to me, a yellowfin is a way harder fighter than a bluefin is, and their tail is evident versus a bluefin. But the swordfish, is just so much power. I mean, I must have sweat my ancestors' sweat. It was so much.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it was work. It was
Yeah.
hard,
Yeah.
but it was well rewarding and beautiful purple fish, you know. And
Oh God.
you got them swimming, and nope, don't get it on yet. It's still hot. What?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll tear the whole boat up,
Yeah,
right?
and it's one of those, you know, you want to pull hard, but you got to also be careful because, you know, you don't want to pull the hook.
Yeah,
Soft
absolutely.
mouths, yeah.
Absolutely. Steve Ennis is with us now. Steve, how are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us. Great info tonight. Question for when you used to fish makos on the barge, was it the sliding rig you used or just a fly line live bait?
Like a fly line with a balloon.
Oh,
right?
that's right. That was the thing on the barge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you let that balloon out and let it just keep it up top.
Yep.
Yeah. And it would just,
How much of a leader did you have below the balloon?
we probably had
8 feet or so?
Nah, we might have been doing something like 3 or 4.
Oh, okay,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah. Then you know, sometimes you lose them because they start rolling up on it, right? And your line rubs
Right.
off, and yeah,
How-
probably like 40-pound test, and we'd use that 49 strand wire. Yeah, but that's what we would use is balloon.
Did you catch sablefish on the barge? Were you there, or was that
We-
before your
That
time?
was just right before. I think I was just talking to somebody about it. Yeah, when they used to get sable.
That was bitching, man. You go out there and load up on those
Yeah,
things.
maybe I did when I was younger because I've been out there when I was in the 70s. So I don't know when they stopped biting. I just don't recall.
Yeah, I don't either. I remember distinctly catching them in the 70s for sure.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm not really
And they could have been
positive.
because I was thinking they were.
Sam probably
the
knows
croaker,
that.
yeah,
He was
but-
out there working on
Yeah.
that. So yeah. All right. Sam De La Torre says it's a white 7-inch fluke. At least that's what's been working up in the Channel Islands for the sea bass.
Thank you, Sam. That's the one I bought because that's where I bought it. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Joe May, Dave, when are you hosting the next charter?
I'm working on trying to do one at the end of this year. If not, it will be next year. Trying to get that date down, but probably June, second week of June.
Yeah.
You know, I do I
Ex-
do
Excelente.
all inclusive host. Yeah, but it depends on who come on.
Yeah, exactly. Goshi says any post bluefin trip tips on care and preparation of your fish. Dave Dodge, you know Dave? Captain Dave Dodge. I don't know if you know him or not. He's so particular about taking care. I got to do a video with him, but it's important, right? I mean,
It's very important.
you really want to take care of your fish.
Yeah, if I can do the what's that with the wire, I bought one to try it, and but you know, bleeding them out, gutting them out, getting them cooled down, I feel is very important. I like to after I get home, I don't usually try to eat them right away. I
Yeah.
like to age it for
Yeah.
a few days. You know, I hear it tastes so much better aged
Yes.
than it does fresh.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
but
same thing with steaks,
yeah,
right?
and I know Sean's aware with that, but I think it's very important, you know, and to be on a boat that also will take care of your catch.
Yeah, that
Very
is so
important.
important, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because
But-
you'll get on some that may hack it. I don't know, you know, but very important.
I'll get Dave to do a thing, but it the aging. Dave mentions that, and he also says every day. It sounds like a pain in the you know what, but he says
towel?
it works. He pulls it out, and he takes paper towels, gets the moisture out of it. Moisture kills your fish. He
Yep.
says, puts it back in. Next day, same thing. Like 4 days, I think.
Yeah, but very important though. Like to touch on what Sean mentioned is right when you're defrosting your fish, you want to take it out of the bag, not defrost it in your bag.
Yes.
You know.
Right. Kai Fish Killer, Dave, do you recommend sending levered drags to Cal Sheets? Cal is going to come on here pretty soon.
Is he really?
With his son, I think. They both reached out to me. I need to get back to those guys because I mean,
Yeah.
they have been taking reels and making them better for decades.
Decades.
Yeah.
I do because I'm sick that way, but
What do you mean you're sick? You're just so.
just so in tune. I'm wanting my gear just really tuned.
Yeah.
And yes, I do recommend it because you will notice the free spool is going to be very different and much better when you get it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. He did a torque and a 25 for me. You know, my Makiras, my pens, and now I'm going to send some Talicas and lower my gears on the Talicas because, you know, I love-hate relationship with those. I don't know, but it's just their gear's not low enough for me, but Cal does wonders to them.
Highly recommend
Yeah.
Cal.
But lever drag reels, yes, he will take care of that and make it something else.
Yeah, and what? Tell me about the reel before and after.
Okay, let's say you get a Penn Fathom or Torque, and you're trying to get this drag thing to work and set up, and maybe they're telling you can get 40 pounds of drag and 20 at strike, and you try to do that, and you back it off when you set it, and you don't have that free spool. Well, Cal's going to set it up you're going to tell him what, or ask, and he'll recommend too because of the reel you give him. But
yeah,
hey, I want to fish this to this pound test. He set up my Penn 25 Torque to fish, what is it, 30 to 60 pound test. And so I can go up to 60 on my with the drag that will not stop the free spool, right?
Yeah.
If I set it up to 30 pounds of drag, I'm still going to have it. And then my Penn 40, he's got it set up to fish up to 80, and but he can do the 25s, the 15s, the 30s, and give him a ring. Find out.
Cal
I think he sells some too.
And this is just the perfect opportunity for me to reach out to those guys again tomorrow and say, let's do this show.
Yeah,
don't you think that'd be a great show?
It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a fountain of knowledge,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Oscar Geronimo, you know that kid.
He was on our trip.
He's a great... Oh, he was?
Yes.
Did he get one?
I don't know. I was too busy, talking.
Yeah, you're watching it. Yeah, I know how that is.
With everybody, yeah.
Oscar, did you get one? Well, anyway, he wants to know your favorite way to eat any type of fish, whether it be cooking, smoking, or sashimi. I'll give my answer, you give your answer. You first.
If I'm cooking it, I like it simple, olive oil, which I just discovered. Olive oil, salt, and pepper. It used to be marinating in Bernstein's Italian dressing.
Right.
And then I'd get a sourdough bread and then put like a pepper jack cheese on it. And then melt that thing down and eat it. And if I smoke it, I get some whipped cream cheese, get on some baked, crisped up sourdough bread.
Yeah.
With the capers and
sounding
lemon
good.
on it. Yeah, eat
making
that
me
up
hungry.
with that, yeah, or just straight up sashimi, raw with no, a little bit of soy, and that's it. It's just simple.
I'm with you. I love sashimi. It kind of is like the fried fish thing. It's not, but you can't beat an Ensenada style Baja fish taco. And it's all about the fixins. You got to have everything to go along with, including the Baja white sauce and the cilantro and the onions and, jalapenos if you like that. Real jalapenos. I love a Baja fish taco. I love sashimi. And a piece of fresh albacore. Here I go with the albacore, right? Piece of fresh albacore with the bacon wrapped around it.
Oh.
Barbecued with lemon, butter, and parsley. And copious amounts of garlic. You could put your socks in that; it would taste good.
Jowl's gone. It tastes so good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Sounds good, I should say. Yeah.
There you go. Now you got to go catch an albacore, Oscar, to make that happen. Sam De La Torre says Cal and Eric Sheets are awesome.
Yes, they are.
They're good people, huh?
Yeah, great.
Yep, they reached out, and
Very
I got to get
helpful.
back to them.
Yeah.
Tim Poissant says, remember the bluefin off the Redondo Pier? 10-pound test needed to catch them. Have you ever caught any on the pier or barge?
Never. I think that was a little bit, I'm only 50, so I don't know. That might have been before my time, from what I understand. But I do recall fishing off the boats, the bluefin on 12-pound test.
Yes, definitely. With a number 8 hook, 6 hook.
Yep.
So I'll give my little, Tim, I'll tell you my story. Eddie Leland, who's an old captain, he was decking on board the Mascot 4, I think it was, Mascot 4 or 6. Joe Schilling was running the boat. Eddie had about 80 days in a row, so he needed a day off. And Joe Schilling comes over to me, I'm 12 years old, and says, hey, can you work tomorrow on the Mascot? And I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll do that. So I go over there. Dave, we poke our nose outside of Redondo Harbor. We don't even get to the Topaz Rock Jetty.
No way.
And Joe sees a breezer, hundreds of BFT strong. We're freaking, you could yell at people on the Topaz Rock Jetty. We put on over 100 bluefin tuna. And mind you, I'm green, I'm 12 years old. So I'm pretty much on the tank chumming. I don't even know if I gaffed on that day. Something tells me that Joe coached me, and I did. But over 100 fish, and Eddie Leland took this day off. And to this day, he says, you You know, you
Just
took my
let you have
great
it.
day.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember specifically I got $114 of side money,
Oh, wow.
which I thought at 12 years old,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
back in, what, 1970? I thought I died and gone to heaven. And when it came time to clean the fish, obviously, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do anything. Joe Schilling took me up in the wheelhouse, and he goes, here's how you drive the boat. I don't care. You just spin circles or whatever. You can pull this engine in reverse and this one in forward and watch how the boat will spin. You can play around a little bit. Just don't do anything crazy, and I'll go down there and start cutting fish. That was a remarkable experience for a 12-year-old.
Fell right in, probably followed that canyon right up in there. Wow,
yeah,
wild.
It was amazing to see all that fish. The Redondo Special was there. And as I remember, there was something going on with Joe and whoever was running the special in those days. But somebody bowed somebody and it was getting a little heated, but there was so much fish. It was just incredible. Thank you, Dave and Phil. Awesome guest. Have a good night, says Joe May.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for making this easy on me.
Oh my God, this is so special having you here. 540 Slinger, David's favorite destination to fish. Local trip, 2-day or shorter. So we're not talking about getting on a plane and flying to Cabo or something.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Wherever they're biting?
no, 3-day trip for me right now.
Yeah.
Wherever they'll get to.
He said local or 2-day or shorter.
Oh, or 2-day.
Yeah.
Favorite destination? San Clemente Island.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Over Cortez, Mac?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah, and the reason why is I think, and maybe I'm going back to years back when you were able to load up on, or
Calico bass?
Yes.
Yeah, that calico bass bite.
and I know you love fishing those, Joe.
Yeah.
Or Jeff, and that, I don't know, that's what it was, because you had that opportunity, the yellows or the calico bass.
It's so good.
Yeah,
China
it just-
Point, all those areas are so good.
So if it's on, it's on. I've been to Cortez where it was just off. And you got to trek back, but yeah, something like that. I wouldn't mind to spend 2 days putting around that island and see where you can get.
That's why I'm excited about June 15th, because Mark was saying maybe Clemente. Hopefully, he said that light switch can go on at any time.
Yeah.
We cream the yellows and then we're on that tuna at night.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
ideal.
And
That's actually ideal.
There's some
Yeah.
sea bass there too.
Yeah.
So, that could really, really work out well. Ed Nisbet, I watched a guy bleed his tuna out, and he also sliced the bloodline, and a lot of blood came out. Is there any advantage to the taste of the meat after doing all that?
It'll actually taste better. And that's how I do it. I just poke the bloodlines, and then if I have an opportunity, or if the crew's too busy and can't do it, they'll cut under the gill and get that hose in there, and it'll pump through that puncture you gave them and flow that blood out, the bloodline out.
Super
and
important,
it does
right?
taste really good. It does make a difference.
Yep. N6UN, that interview with Bob this afternoon was fantastic. Great albacore information. And the albacore are coming. The albacore are coming. I couldn't agree more. Bob Osborne is so knowledgeable. I don't know, did you get a chance to hear it?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
He
I
went
heard
through
it.
the
I
SST.
saw it when I was going, yeah.
Awesome. He goes through it all. I ask him about the stock of albacore. He addresses that. He addresses the migration patterns.
All right.
The fact that SSTs don't tell the whole story because there's the water temperature down below. So sometimes the SSTs are really like too warm for albacore, but they can submarine in that cooler water.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're down at 50 feet and they look up there and go, whoa, look at all that anchovy.
Yeah, they'll go up, take
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, thank you so much. I couldn't agree more. You know why my show is so good? Because I got guests like you
Oh, I
and Bob.
appreciate it. Wow, all right.
That's the reason
huge.
right there,
I
man. I know
appreciate it.
how to get good guests on. All right, let's see. Brandon, Phil, when you go down to Mexico this year, do you think you'll do a podcast showing the magnificent food they have down there? I always love the cooking shows. You're reading my mind, Brandon.
That's awesome.
So Gerardo Delgado is the general manager of the Del Mar Hotel in Rosarito. He's already built this beautiful grill at the pool there. And what we're going to do is a podcast with the grill, because anybody who goes fishing anywhere near Rosarito, you catch a fish, he'll cook it for free.
Oh, wow.
Go to him, he'll grill it right there. he's banking on you drinking some beer and doing that, and hopefully people will be kind enough to do that. But we're going to do that. We're going to have that podcast, and I'm sure this is going to end up in a divorce for me because he's already talking about Gerardo. He goes, I can get some girls in bikinis to kind of stroll in and out of the background of the podcast. And I'm like, well, thank God my wife never watches this because first of all, she didn't know anything about fishing and she doesn't speak English, so she won't see it. But it's going to be a lot of fun, Brandon. Now, he's already putting his reservation.
He's already booking.
He didn't care about the grilled fish. Right. He heard about the girls in bikinis. But it should be a great time. And I've worked with Gerardo this year in distributing thousands of dollars of food and clothing to people. The hotel workers were having a hard time, so we took care of over 400 people down there. And I just went over to Gallagher Staging in La Mirada, and I've got a whole car full again. We have thousands of items we're going to be distributing for Christmas in northern Baja and probably down by Cabo. So I'm actually going to put together a thing where you can come down, and if you come down for the weekend, we're going to go fishing, do the whole grill thing. You can be there in case my divorce proceedings, you can test, be my witness that I'm a good guy. Yeah. And then Monday and Tuesday are going to be, I'm planning it around Dia de los Muertos.
Okay.
And we're going to do a distribution of goods. So if you just want to come down and goof around and fish, that's cool. If you can hang out till Monday or Tuesday, you can help us distribute goods. So that should be fun. Randy Stanger.
Oh, good old Randy.
You know him?
He was on our trip.
Is he a cool guy?
Oh, he's beyond.
Well, can I just say.
He's a gentle, awesome soul.
Randy, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here with us. Great show, David. I was using 60-pound and a customized Colt Sniper on that 150-pound lost fish.
Yep.
I will teach you the Seaguar knot in under 30 seconds. Teach me too.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's the group right there that I've learned a lot from.
Really?
Yeah.
And Randy's a good fisherman?
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Randy, thank you for joining us tonight. You're here, I know, for David. I hope you stick around. David, you're going to have to come back more often. Believe me, we're not through. We're not even close to through. But it's just been a great show so far. Your knowledge is incredible.
I appreciate everyone watching. It's made it a lot easier than I thought. So.
Yeah. Hey, hit that like button, please. And we'll be very grateful. That's what we'll be, right?
Yes, exactly.
Let me try to get this thing straight. All right, let's go to Blue Skies. Was there a barge from Belmont Shore?
There was.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, out in Long Beach, right?
Right.
Yeah, there used to be a barge out there.
Was it the Annie B? Or no, was that something else?
That sounds familiar.
Was the Annie B?
It could have been. I think so.
Sam?
I think it was the Annie B.
Hey, somebody says Annie B.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sam. Annie B barge was the one in Long Beach, I believe. I think you're right. Now he's going to think I read that and said Annie B, but I didn't. I actually had that thought.
You said it before it popped up.
I never fished that barge. I was always a Redondo barge guy.
Me too. It was right here.
They had two barges that I fished out of Redondo. The California, which was like an orange one, I think, and then the Sacramento, which was kind of green. In fact, on the Sacramento, when you went in, there you go to fish, but there was a window. Or like there was like this window, and you'd look down, and you frickin' see like big, and I would always drop down, and you get screwed every time pretty much because they could run you into stuff.
Yeah.
But you just had to try the window.
So that was the one I used to fish. We used to fish on the Sacramento.
Okay, because do you remember that window?
I do.
Yeah. Isn't that bitchin'?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was such a great memory.
My brother and I used to jump on it a lot. My brother Ruben, who was on the.
Yeah, Sam might even have something to say about that window because I just have that memory. It'll never leave me. Sam De La Torre, there were several barges. I worked the Redondo one. 540 Slinger, I agree with Dave about SCI. He loves San Clemente Island also. I would take Cortez Bank over that. I don't know why, it's just magical. But yeah, whatever. Everybody, has their opinion. And Sam, once again, Annie B, that was Sam De La Torre. There's a great book by Ed Rice about piers and barges, the history in California. I've seen that book. It is great.
Okay.
Have you checked it out?
No, I'm going to.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic. Pat Lynch. Didn't that barge sink on Mother's Day swell storm in the mid-'70s? One of those
the
Sacramento?
No, the Annie
California?
B, I think.
Oh, the Annie
or
B.
California. I was just going over this.
One of
with
those
somebody.
Redondo barges sunk.
One of them did sink. Yes, you're correct.
I think it was the Sacramento because isn't that a spot you fish in Redondo? I think it is.
I can't remember, but I fished whichever was the last one, like from 79 maybe from 80 to 90 or something like that.
Sam, we need you. Answer that.
But yes, one of them did sink off there, and it might be there still. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Travis Bright, great show. Thank you both for your time tonight. Travis, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Deeply, and I know you feel the same way, man.
Yeah.
It's great to have these Friedman, I call them the Friedman Adventure family. Actually, Michael, who's on the East Coast now, he started that whole thing. Friedman Adventures family. People that treat each other with respect, trying to help others. Our Mexico thing, you going out on a trip and dedicating most of your time to helping others. That's the kind of people we want in this family. I'm so blessed to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody watching. It's a joy to help. That's how I put it. It's a joy to help.
More likes. Thank you so much. We're up to 50 likes. We love you all. Really appreciate it. Brandon, I already reserved when you said bikinis. Phil eating ceviche with a lovely lady. I can't turn that down. Okay, well there you go. He's probably single, so he's
exactly.
Okay. Me, I'll eat it with Dave. I'll have a ceviche with Dave. Blue Sky says yes. Blue Sky says I'm 70. LOL. Okay.
Yeah, young man.
Yeah, right. N6UN. Does David know if the knife jigs have a wire running through the jig connecting both ends of the jig?
The ones I use, they do. I would not use one that doesn't. I used to grab some and buy a couple extra and break one just to make sure. That's why you got to be careful
of the quality
of who you're buying from, where you're getting it. There's a lot of people out there putting some out, and you'd hate to lose one on a non-wired through, but they can also break off on a wired through. That wired through, as a matter of fact, one of the gentlemen, Adrian, very good Englishman, and Randy, a buddy of ours, on his knife jig, I saw he had his Kevlar line strapped to the knife jig and down here because he lost one on a jig at one time. At some point, it was a big fish, and it broke, and the wire through broke too.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful about it because you're dealing with these monster fish.
Yeah, and I think it just it's one of those things. What are you gonna do, right? I mean, you can't do it. You can't protect everything. So.
That's right. But
yes, to answer your question, wired through. It's the only way to go. You don't want to risk it.
I agree. Gary Mizuhara, thank you, Philip, for the narration of the Manzanar Fishing Club documentary. Gary, that was an honor for me to do it. One of the darkest parts of American history. That's the great thing about the United States of America. We can recognize when we're wrong and fix it.
Yeah, his family was part of that, the Fisher folk. The ones that you did, I think you guys talked for a little while a couple years ago.
Gary, I thank you. That means more to me than you can ever imagine, you saying that. And as I say, that was a great honor for me to do that. Being a history major and looking back at that awful time in our history, and God, I mean, you look at these Japanese they're Americans, and they had homes and they had thriving businesses, and one day it's just all taken away,
gone.
And then you're sitting in a camp with armed guards around it. What a freaking nightmare!
Yeah,
what an awful part of our history.
I believe Gary's family owned some businesses, and that's what. Unfortunate, yeah.
James Tawney, who used to work at Pierpoint Landing, he's passed away recently, was born in Manzanar.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I talked to him about his mother there and everything else. So, Gary, thank you. We all need a reminder like that once in a while. Really, really appreciate you saying that. Blue Skies, the boat had an electrical fire. He may be talking about the barge.
Probably.
Yeah. And Sam says that was the Sacramento. They would park the Isle of Redondo on it.
That's the one.
The Isle of Redondo.
That's the one I fished.
That was another one, right?
Yeah.
So there was the I think those are like...
Thank you, Sam. It was, it was the Isle of Redondo.
Yeah, what color was it? Do you have any recollection of that?
I'd have to, I don't know if my brother's on. He might
know.
Yeah.
But. It's weird how I can remember like the colors, and it just tells you how fishing makes such an impact on your life, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you way less about my graduation at Loyola Marymount than I can about the
fishing.
biggest white sea bass I've caught.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember it that well.
Yeah.
And that was an important time. And mostly it was important because my parents, they spent money to send me there and blah, blah, blah. And so I want to be respectful of all that, but yeah,
No, it's
my
really
biggest
fun.
sea bass was.
In going back in memory, a couple years ago, but right before COVID, my wife, my 2 kids, and myself, we went fishing, and it was so awesome because I was watching my wife helping my daughter fighting the fish and
Yeah.
reeling one up. And that was a really cool memory.
Yeah, so you'll
That
never,
one.
that's
Yeah.
be indelibly etched in your mind forever,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Why is that? It's just so cool.
Because you see them doing that too and helping, you're like, oh man, this is way too cool to see it happen. Especially something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going because they like it, but also because it's just something for all of us to do together. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, that is the key. It does bring families together. Fishing with my kids, it just brings you together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that when you guys, the dynamics on when you're fishing
Oh,
with your
right.
kids.
You were
yeah.
out with us, right? Yeah. Those 2 knuckleheads.
Great guys. Yeah.
It was way too much fun. Was my brother Paul there?
Yes, I met Paul. We
That's
fished
right.
together. Yeah.
My brother lives in Taiwan.
Yes.
And I was so glad to see the Taiwan patch on Tom Cruise's back in Maverick.
okay.
Did you know that whole story?
No.
So I don't even know why I'm getting into this, but to appeal to mainland China, they had the Taiwan patch on his jacket. They took it off. They got rid of it because mainland China was going to have a fit, and there's billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Well, at some point they said screw it, and they put it back on, and it was in the movie. I saw it, and I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
It was cool because Taiwan is a democracy and an ally of ours, and mainland China has that whole thing about a runaway province and everything else. But anyway, I don't know how I got into that. But
Movie
I did.
review. It's okay. It's all right.
I'll give the movie review later.
Yeah.
The guy that is your father figure, we got a little break, so keep
Wong.
those questions coming, everybody.
George Wong, great fisher guy. I met him back on the Aztec on a 2-day trip, and we just hit it off, and we just started booking trips together, and he and I constantly, I would say almost every day, texting, hey, I saw this, and let's try this idea, and let's go have lunch and discuss our ideas, and we put it together, and we try things, and knots, and we sitting there learning things together, and watching him do. He's the one that got me onto doing the mono, using mono to
right.
Because I was like, oh, you did that on mono with the uni to uni. You're gonna make me go back to that, because I started doing like 30-foot, or 30-yard fluorocarbon leaders, and then I went back to the mono just recently, and I watched them on, like I said, Torque 40, 72 years old, and handled it like it was no big deal.
Really?
Like no big deal.
Wow, that's great.
And he was knocking them dead on the Salas 6X Junior Chromes too.
72 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like no big deal.
Got me by 8 years.
He's got quite a few big fish under his belt.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Real mellow.
And the key is when you get older, you got to keep moving, man.
Yeah,
right?
And it was a discussion about, how do you fight a fish when the gentleman asked earlier.
Yes.
He just points the rod at him.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, and then he just gets on that rail and then lets him have it when it's time.
Does that matter when you're pointing the rod at him, whether you're using a circle hook or a J hook? Or is it
I don't think so.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not to me. Maybe just not as heavy a drag if you have a small hook, but he was on a number 10 Charlie Brown circle hook. We got onto those and bought them, and the guy retired, and I know there's a lot of people on here looking for him. Sorry, some of us hoard them. I was like, buddy's retiring. 20 packs gone. Yeah.
So you got a whole bunch though?
Yeah.
Are you selling them for $100 each?
I give them away. I won't sell them to people. If
You're the
somebody
man.
wants it. Yeah.
You are the man. N6 UN wants to know, do you think adding a swivel to the knife jig on the hook would solve the breakage problem?
Probably.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. I mean, the engineering aspect of it, I think, because it's the pressure, right? And I don't know, you have a swivel on top though, so I don't know how much twisting it's going to get, but I'm not going to say no because it sounds like it makes sense.
It sounds like it's plausible, right? You do have to try it, but it sounds like it might work, right?
Yeah. I would, I know some of my knife jigs do have a swivel and at the bottom and then a hook, on my bigger ones on when I put a big old one on there. Or the ones I put treble hooks. I even put some trebles on some so you can get them to choke on it.
Yeah, right. N6UN wants to know, how do you become a Patreon member? So you go to www.patreon.com and then just search Friedman Adventures. $5 a month.
Can't beat
How can
that.
you beat that? And we give stuff out every week, and I'm behind on sending stuff. I really am. I'm throwing myself at your mercy out there, but I'm going to catch up tomorrow. I promise. Unless I go see Top Gun for the third time. I don't know. No, I'm not going to do
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
All right, Brandon says, Sam, David, Phil, Sam De La Torre, how do you work his way into this?
Right, that's awesome. Thank you, Sam. I was going to ask for Sam, too.
Do you ever think we will use the boat lines again, trolling like we did in the albacore years? Oh. The big 1 pound weight thrown over, attached to rock climbing cord next to car laps. Yeah. You know what I like the most about it is the freaking air horns. Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah.
Those air horns would go off, man, and you'd go flying out of the galley.
Let's go, yeah. Some of the long-range boats, though, do the air horns.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, they just hit it. But, yeah, I remember that with the milk crate in the back and just haul those things in.
Oh, that was so bitchin'. Did you pull boat lines before?
I have.
It's so freaking primal. To feel that, right?
It is, yeah.
It is so primal. I love doing that. In fact, I remember on the Searcher, like Leroy or Norm Kagawa, they go, pull that boat line, so we and it was like, I'm in. Yeah, I'll pull it. Yeah. You kind of wanted to get a bait in the water, but pulling the boat line was cool too. And then, you throw it on deck and then go get a bait. That was cool. David, talk about Pavlov's dogs. I would be up, I'd work on the Searcher and go up in the parking lot, trying to, catch a moment of sanity in between trips. Somebody would sound one of those freaking air horns and I'd jump up in the parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so weird that, you automatically would jump. You hear an air horn, and that tripped me out. Talk about that whole conditioning thing, that's for sure. I don't feel like we've given the Thunderbird enough attention yet.
Not yet.
I'd like to dig into what it's like to fish on that boat, what it's like to fish with Jeff Markland, how his crew is, what the galley's like.
Great crew. Great captain, Jeff Markland, Chris May. We had Chris Ashcroft, goes by nickname Goofy. I call him Chris. We had Steve and Anthony. Great. Anthony's a young kid, but great crew. Colin Kelly, awesome also. They were really, I'd say they treated us well. Chris did some great food for us, great breakfast. Jeff, what I love about when we had him as a captain was he was constantly giving us information. I mean, as he was traveling, what he was seeing, what kind of water we were in, what kind of temperature we were in.
I love that.
Where he saw the fish, and even if they moved out, let's hold on, they're coming back through. They're at this depth, that depth, try this. I mean, he was constantly. And then he'd come down, and everybody was helping.
I love that. Because new people that come into this sport, like the captain will pull the anchor and it seems like he moves like just a short distance and they're like, what's going on? And if you got a guy like Jeff who's explaining, hey, I didn't anchor on that rock exactly how I wanted because we swung a different direction. So I'm going to come around, re-anchor, and we need to get on this rock to catch, if you get the explanation, it makes the trip more understandable, more enjoyable.
Yeah, and they treated everybody, all the guests well, which was very important to me. And
do you get the impression that's the way they do it every trip?
Every trip I've been on.
Yeah.
And then
that's what I've heard.
And the office for being my first charter to set up with them was perfect. So easy, really. Any information I asked, I bugged them a lot at first. This. What if I needed this, that? Yeah, we'll work it out. Don't worry about it. At the end of the trip, you can do this and that. And we took care of them well.
Would you recommend the Thunderbird out of Davies Locker to a new fisherman who doesn't know how to catch a fish?
Yes, I would, because they will help you and they're willing to help you. They even ask, who here doesn't know or who here is new or whatever, and they'll help you out. As a matter of fact, they had a trip. What are we at? Well, they're already about to head out, but they're leaving on a.
Oh, they're going tonight?
Tonight, they put together a 2-day because that fish that is within 2 days is, for them where they're at, it's perfect, right? To get to the 43, it gives them time because of the bite situation. The way, if they did it on overnight, they might miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
Just because you still want that sun up, sundown moment, right? Unless they start biting really well, the bluefin, right? It all depends.
Right.
And they have another one next week, Tuesday, that they leave on a 2-day. And last I heard earlier today, they had 11 people, I think 10 or 11 there, and they were going out. That made it a go.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. Hopefully they'll score again.
Yeah, but they're, I fished with them a couple more times. I will this year, and then he's great.
We talked at Sam's place over on Island Fishing Tackle about what you were probably going to do, and I kind of knew that if you came out of there and made a right-hand turn, you're going to get shellacked with the weather.
Yep.
So you told me, yeah, no, we're going to, and I go, wow, really?
And I said, we're going to
That's
turn
cool,
left.
man. I hope you get them down there, man.
So we're going to go left. And it was cool, I gave away, everyone got gift cards and Colt snipers and jigs. I think Sean brought jigs for everyone to give away, they got Island Tackle, the kid Oscar purchased some shirts and gave them away. So it was
Nice.
Everybody put something together. And then some reels and some rods. So it was a fun trip.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a great time. And the crew and Jeff and
highly recommend
the
them,
office, it all sounds great.
It's like here, great
Yeah.
boats, right?
Yep, definitely. All right, back to, ready for another question?
Of course.
All right, Anthony Malfatano. Hey, guys, unfortunately, I feel that I've wasted some money on some online knife jigs in the past. Is there one or two brands of knife jig that stick out to you? Thanks, and tails up. Thank you, Anthony, for joining us. So, Anthony, he's talking about probably that quality issue, and he doesn't want to get out there, hook the fish of a lifetime, and lose it because
it, right?
So, yeah.
If you can get the those mustads, I think right now, from what I'm hearing, is and what we saw is that smaller, stubbier, round knife jig, but those mustad streakers. The SK, I know they're hard to find, but they're out there. We come across them once in a while. But the SK, not the SK, but the Mustad Streaker, the West Coast jiggers, I'd say the Johnny's jigs from Florida, and they're quick. If you can get those wiggle riders, they're really hard to come by from Fisherman's Hut online. You can find them. There's a guy that goes by the name of Olaf that. Local, well, not local, but made here in the States and out of Texas. Pontchartrain, not Texas, because that's not Pontchartrain. What am I looking at here? Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah, Pontchartrain jigs. He has the wired through. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I was on them for a long time. Hey, do you make this, make that?
Oh, so you research this stuff,
right?
Yeah,
I ordered some. So if he heard this, podcast, yes, I did break one to check, and it was legit.
Oh. Bitchin'. So you actually broke it to make sure.
Oh, I will if I get some, yeah.
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 That's great. And what is that? And how do you get a hold of those? You have to order
all
online?
Yeah, all online.
How do you spell that? Do you know?
Just like Poncha, Ponchatrain, or Johnny's Jigs. But
you like these, right?
But I would say the West Coast jiggers. That I was just giving those other ones. You will find these. Go to the West Coast Jiggers Instagram or Facebook, or if you can get a hold of James Kikawa, Kikkawa, I want to say, and he answers pretty quick, and they have quite a big, variety of them. But Mustad streakers, I seen them at Island Tackle. I think up here, Rusty Hook too. You can find them.
All right. Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But if you're not local in the area, look those up online.
All right. Hey, I got our first Patreon. We're going to give 2 Patreons.
Okay.
A guy by the name, I think I met this guy in San Diego, actually, when I was down with Bill Wilkerson. His name, George Harrison.
All
and
right.
what does George get?
What do we want to give George?
We're giving him a Suzuki hat, and you're giving one of those great knife jigs, right?
Yes, he's getting a Suzuki hat and a blue chrome 200-gram West Coast jiggers.
George Harrison.
All right.
And that's Patreon. Go to patreon.com, $5 a month, and you're eligible. All right, somebody make a note of this.
This is ready to go. So you're good.
Can I write on this?
Of course.
You sure? All right, George Harrison. Yeah.
I've gone through my notes, so you're good.
All right, good. You don't need any notes, man. You're a fountain of knowledge without this. Let me tell you. Seriously.
Just in case I forget.
You ever do any surf fishing?
I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got to come over with me someday.
My brother Ruben's big surf fisherman. He's the one that got me, to try some of that and do that with him. He's a kayaker too, so he likes to kayak.
Oh, shoot.
He and I go behind PV sometimes and go fish that bass off the rocks. Try to find little nooks and
in
crannies.
kayaks?
No, that's off. He does the kayaking, but I'll surf fish with him or
In the
it's been a
PV
while.
area? That could
Yes.
be awesome, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of like it's treacherous getting down there,
It
though,
is.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's little ankle snappers. Yeah.
Exactly, but well worth it.
Yes.
You know what blows me away? When we fish like the Punabanda area in Mexico with Diego Nuno, who's a deckhand on the Royal Star, but he has a little ponga down there on the Ensenada. We fish with him all the time. David, these freaking people that live nearby there, you look at these sheer cliffs and there's these ropes hanging down. They rope down and then they got to rope up. I might be able to get down, like fall flat on my ass.
But getting up,
There's no way. I'd have to have a helicopter get me up there. Not in any shape to do it.
you'll need a rope like on your hike
Yeah.
you did up
And
there.
I'm not getting
somewhere.
down. You know, the only way I'm getting down is like, with a parachute,
Yeah,
maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
I'm telling you, they like repelled almost, and you're not talking about like, talking about some older guys doing this. And they're down there freaking catching yellows and big
I was
bonita
gonna
and
say,
all
they
kinds
get
of
big
great
yellows
stuff.
out there like that.
Yeah. I mean, talk about dedication.
That's fun off the rocks or shore, however you want to call it.
Yeah, that was bitching to see that. No question.
That's awesome.
Gustavo Prieto. I know everyone is in lust. Oh, he's talking about the bikini girls in Rosarito. No, about the bluefin. But what about rock fishing? Now, this guy is talking my game. I love that.
There you go.
Gustavo says, what about the rock fishing at San Nicolas Island? And what boats do that trip? I think the El Dorado does a lot of
El
that,
Dorado
right?
is heavy on that. Yeah. I think that bite's got to be really turned on at these islands for him to fish different.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it seems
Me
to be.
too. It seems like he
It
does
seems
that
like
a lot.
he's dedicated a lot, quite a few trips to that. So the El Dorado out of Long Beach, that I'm familiar with, and other than that, other than the Ventura boats that you can go on the full day boats.
Right, or like Mark and I also talked about if the weather were to lie. I mean, we're going to have all these choices to make on our 2-day trip, but Nick has also been the site, Gustavo, of some incredible halibut fishing, big numbers of white sea bass. I don't know if that's where those guys got them today. Wouldn't surprise me. They get them on the backside of many of the islands down there, but you've got that, and then you got that great rock fishing, and then choices. Too many options. I hope, as long as the weather cooperates.
And my wife loves rock fishing, so I'll drop down for rockfish for her. It's fun. I like to drop plastics for them. So
they're fun. Yeah, no question. If you'd like, we have one spot I think on that Amigo trip, and if you want me to send you some info on that, send me a text at 657-227-6459, and I'll pop you out. In fact, if you just want our charter list, I'll send it to you. 657-227-6459. Brandon says, David, do you ever see them opening the cow cod grounds in our lifetime? Or do you see it permanently closed?
That's a hard one. I know they've had some boats go out there and study that recently.
Yeah.
I want to say. I've heard they did well, but it's hard. I think it depends on who we get in the office, and that could be wrong, but it's going to be hard.
It's a political thing, you think?
Yeah,
It could be. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, it's just trying to convince those that it wasn't the recreational anglers. I think that slowed that down. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one. It just usually if they take something, it's taken.
Yep. It's like, when they say, hey, we're only going to put this tax on for a few years. That tax never goes away. It's just more funds for these politicians.
Unfortunately, I think it's not in ours. Not in mine.
I think I agree with you. And it's kind of a shame because, man, that fishing probably is so good right now, right?
I could only imagine all those barrels floating up.
I remember those days, man, dropping 50, 60, 70 hooks, just watching it float up.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the world as cool as that. Do you ever drive into Mexico and fish? You ever do that? Or
No.
have you ever done it?
No. I've gone to Cabo and La Paz and then fished Las Arenas.
Yeah.
And got, fished out there for yellowtail, pargo.
How do you like that?
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Beautiful part of the world.
It was a trip. We were trying not to catch marlin, and we kept trying to yank our sardines away from them and break them off, and we got doubles, on there, and black and stripe at the same time.
Wow.
Next to literally the land and cliffs. And yeah, it was
pretty cool,
fun.
right?
Yeah, it was cool.
Hey, David and I can't leave until we get 75 likes, and we're only at 55.
Oh, yeah.
So David's going to be here till midnight. His wife's going to be saying, "Where the heck
I
are you?"
I thought you said you were only going to have about 5 minutes in you.
Too funny. A girl by the name of Sin Ramirez, I met her, I have no idea how many years ago. I'll say 15, maybe something like that, at the Del Mar Fred Hall show. And she's involved with the Mexican government. And she just sent me a note today and said, "Hey, we are doing all these fishing tournaments in Baja. The winner gets $1,000,000 pesos, whatever that is, divide by 20. So it's a lot of money, right? It's pretty, yeah. And they're going to be doing, so we would love to do a podcast with you and maybe have you down to La Paz. So I'm really looking forward to that because she was a nice kid. I remember her, very polite. And it's funny how, you meet somebody for a little bit of time and then stay in touch for 15 years. And so I love La Paz.
Yeah,
and I love driving across the border.
If you fish by Saravlo Island, take chrome jigs.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we were yanking big old pargo out of there like
Ooh,
that. Yeah.
Man, are they good to eat too?
Oh, yeah.
And they're fun to catch.
They'll
right?
dog you, yeah.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah, right into the rock.
Were you fishing like 40-pound or what? Or heavier?
Well, it was 40,
Yeah.
and then I started losing a lot of jigs, and then got the 80-pound, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was in Laredo with a guy by the name of Bruce Kuhn, and he had a company called Baja Adventures. Funny guy. In fact, I went to a sushi bar with him somewhere in the valley, and the trumpet. Oh, did you remember a TV show called F Troop?
Yes.
You remember the trumpet player?
Yeah.
He was sitting there, and he was a cool guy.
Oh, wow.
Can't remember his name, but the trumpet guy. Oh my God!
That falls in with the bugle going on.
Yeah, we got the bugle going right now. Anyway, I went down to Laredo with him, and he goes, "We're going to go to this Isla Catalina, which is like, nobody fishes that when you're out of Laredo. You fish the islands out in front there. But we were going to go to Cat. So it was a pretty good run up, and we were, just getting screwed by these grouper. Couldn't stop them. And they were big, so he's like, we're going to spend the night on the island, And we go on the island. Frickin' mosquitoes are awful, and it's like we're going to just sleep on the rocks in sleeping bags.
Wow.
So he looks at me and he goes, "Is this good?" And I go, I vote for cable TV and air conditioning." Anyway, I bailed out,
So you glam camped.
I was a wimp. I hate to admit it, but I was that time. Brandon, David and Phil, have you ever had an experience with a blue marlin in Mexico? I hope one of you can story about that magnificent beast. I have, but have you?
I have not, just black marlin.
Yeah. So the one that I remember specifically, I'm trying to remember, is there any other one? I think this is it. We were on a boat called the Whiskey out of Palmas de Cortez. The captain's name is Jose, and the deckhand's name is Jose.
Oh,
Jose.
Yeah.
Not the cantante, not the singer, famous singer, but Jose, and they're great guys, They're wonderful, wonderful guys, good friends. I haven't seen them for a long time, but Philip was down there recently. So anyway, Philip had never caught a blue marlin, and Jose goes, "Look, mira. And there was a frickin' just greyhounding out in front of us. So he just rips up there going 100 miles an hour, pulls him back, jigs in the water, and boom, this thing comes up and frickin' eats. And Philip's in this nice battle and gets his first blue marlin.
All right.
Not a giant one, like 220, something like that, but decent.
Hey, he's got a blue.
Yeah, and he was a kid, and they had a great time. My first trip to Baja with the kids, I'm telling them, you guys, this is magical, okay? We're going to come from the Vizcaíno Desert, and you're going to come down, and you're going to see the Sea of Cortez. It's freaking magical. And it was, So we get to Palmas de Cortez, and I go, you guys have a really good chance, this is another trip, of catching a marlin. Dave, we had, I think, 7 marlin in the first hour.
Wow.
On the Whiskey. It was insane. And my kids look at me, and they go, "Hey, Dad, can we do something else besides catch marlin?" I wanted to strangle them,
Right? It's
like they're bored with getting,
Yeah.
So we go in to the beach. The guy, I asked him, and he said, yeah. So we go in, we're catching yellowfin, roosterfish,
fun.
some pargo, Patrick fly lines. Now, Philip, was there, but Patrick fly lines a sardine, frickin' swings, and a marlin jumped out of the water.
Nice.
He hooked it was a time when the marlin bite was
It was
incredible.
incredible.
Those kids will never forget that, neither will I. It was such a remarkable trip. And I'm pretty sure that's when I think my wife was there, my mother-in-law from Costa Rica was there. We had like 9 people in the Suburban, and we made that almost 1,000-mile trek down there.
That's quite a trek.
It was such a great memory. We really, really had a good time. So that's my story there, Brandon, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your plans for the future? Are you got any trips coming up?
I do. I have one in a family trip on the Cobra. It just take our kids. My brother will take his kids, my other brother, and we'll fish their local islands over there.
Up north?
Yes, up north.
Cobra is Chris, right?
I
Chris,
believe so,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a great guy. He's a fireman.
Okay.
He's got somebody else running the boat, but
Right,
great
yeah.
guy. They had a sea bass this year was pushing 70, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a 2-day in the end of August on the Thunderbird, and then a 2-day in October, and then I just had somebody set up a 4-day with me in December.
Awesome.
On the
Ooh,
Intrepid.
That's a nice time of year to fish that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the year on the Intrepid. I love that boat.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's
Pat's great, right?
Yeah, we Bill. Right?
I mean, Bill, pardon me, yeah.
No, we had the pleasure to have both brothers.
Oh,
on
really?
my
Pat was on there?
Yeah, 3-day. We had Pat Kavanaugh, Bill Kavanaugh, and then we also had Alan Fay
Oh,
on
shoot.
deck because his boat was being, in maintenance.
What's
It was
Alan's
so
boat?
cool.
What's his name?
The
The Magician?
no.
The
Oh, it's slipped my mind.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
He's a
awesome.
damn good fisherman too. Those
Yeah.
3 guys, man. Talk about
wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
Wealth
I
of
love
knowledge.
Alan.
We learned a few things from him, also, and it's just those little things that,
Yeah.
on how to mess with your drag while you're on a big fish that
Yep.
you don't never really think about.
Yeah, I haven't seen Alan for a while. We got to remember the name of his boat before the end of the
Yeah.
show. We definitely.
Maybe somebody could.
Yeah.
chime in and let
Anybody
us
know what boat Alan runs out of San Diego? Because both of us have forgotten. 62 likes. We can't leave yet.
Yeah,
we're getting
there.
closer. We need
Yeah, we're getting
75.
there. But
Come on, David's getting tired. I can see it.
no, it's. I was just trying to think this Alan Fay boat, but
Yeah, keep thinking. Brian Burrell tomorrow will be talking about how to catch more tuna out of San Diego. He's got some tips for you, so you'll be able to see Brian. And of course, the morning briefing. I'm up every morning at 4:30, boning up, so I can bring everybody the very latest. I'm really enjoying doing that.
Yeah, that's fun. Like we were talking about, it's always a good topic, just something to get up to. Maybe on the way to work, you're listening to it or whatever, and it's an update on everything. Right?
Yeah, I try,
what's going
right?
on, yeah.
Sometimes I miss a few things because my research assistant, Scott Buchert, screws me
Oh,
up.
good old Coffee Scott.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were there on that?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
I don't know.
yeah, I think so.
No, I was. I just said, I don't know.
yeah.
Did we tell that story?
Yeah, we
No.
do tell it. Of course. So we're on a 2-day trip. Where were we? On Cortez?
Yes.
Yeah, we're on Cortez Bank. And Scott goes to set the hook, I think, or he's making a cast. Well, anyway, he takes a cup of hot black coffee. The captain, Jeff Jessup, is standing behind Scott, and it just goes all in his face. And all I heard was expletive deleted, Scott! And then I walked in the galley and I see Jeff and he's like got a towel and I go, I'm laughing. I go, what happened? He goes, that Scott threw a hot cup of coffee. I go, he threw a, like he literally, he goes, well, no, not exactly. But
Right.
that was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Leave it to Scott.
Don't hold your cup of coffee when you're sitting the hook.
Exactly. Sam De La Torre says it's the El
Capitan.
Capitan.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes. Thank
Alan
you.
Fay. I hope Alan's listening. He's a great guy. Sam has it. That's the boat. Yeah. Alan and Joe Chait used to work very closely together. You know Joe? He's
do
on the
rec-
Pegasus
rec-
kind of
yeah.
now. He's kind of retired, but he still comes out. That guy
I
is
used to-
one hell of a
I
fisherman.
used to fish with Alan Fay on the Pronto with Alex Masumuto, Rusty Hook.
Oh, yeah. I
I
love
used to do charters out of there. And that's who I did my first long-range trip with was Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, down to Clarion when they used to be open, Roca Partida and that whole area. Yeah,
It seems like we've been talking for 15 minutes. How long does it feel like to you?
5.
5 minutes?
No, it's quick. It's not that long. I don't know, but
2 hours, my friend.
wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't believe it. It's flying by. 68. You can almost go home. Oh, come on, 75, you guys. And when we hit 75, I'll make it 100. No,
Yeah, just keep upping
75.
But yeah, we did a trip down there, so it was cool.
Gary says, David, it's Gary Mizuhara. David, get a kayak. I'll show you what to do. It'll change your life. Lobster season is coming. Something tells me Gary's got it dialed in.
So Gary, I have a kayak that my brother is going to have me store because he bought one from Justin, I believe. This fella Justin. That
Yeah.
you know, but he has one, and he goes, "Yeah, can I just store it in your garage?" I was sure. It's 14-footer, but I'm just so scared to try something else fun.
Yeah, you because you'll get hooked on it?
Yes.
I know you will.
Yeah.
Especially if Gary's tutoring
Oh,
you.
them guys are, man, they're out there all the time. Gary and his group and always.
Doing the kayak thing?
Oh, yeah. They're getting lobster, rock cod. They do trips. Oh, it looks fun.
Yeah. We're up to 71 likes now. I don't want to quit. I'm not
Right?
going to quit
No,
until
I
the
appreciate
questions.
everybody being on and making this fun. It's so easy.
Are you kidding, man? They're loving you.
Yeah.
You're such a great guest. You're one of my favorite guests.
No, I appreciate that.
Just because
Thank
you're
you.
such a nice guy.
I
Got to tell you
appreciate
that.
it, but let's make sure we don't forget other folks. But for the
Absolutely.
giveaways. And,
Yeah, we got one more to go, and I'm going to do that in a second. But
Yeah.
Sam De La Torre says, "What do I win?" You win our admiration and love, Sam. Right? Do you feel the same way?
Yes.
Yeah. David and Phil, this is Brandon. Any information on when Mexico will let us know about the Guadalupe Island being available, or is it still a waiting game?
Last I've heard, I think it's still a waiting game. If you have the opportunity to fish that, I had the pleasure to fish it a couple times. I got to fish it with my brother Ruben. Talk about, I don't know when they'll, hopefully they get permits. Somebody does to get out there. But that island is magical.
It is, right?
It is something else. We were on a 5-day trip, and we fished offshore. Everybody on the boat, we were on the Royal Star, and everyone grand slammed.
Really?
Everybody. And when
Wow.
I'm talking about grand slam, we got big eye, bluefin, albacore, yellowfin, skipjack. We had mackerel, yellowtail, and dorado. So we were almost plugged. We started cutting anything off under 50 pounds. So we went and just, spent the rest of the day and a half at Guadalupe. And everyone's fishing down below. My brother and I are casting surface irons. And when we start hooking, big fat hog yellowtail.
Oh my God.
And it just lit up. It was all
That
awesome.
place, like you
Yeah.
said, is
It
magical.
was so cool. I still remember just looking over and my brother and I hooking up at the same time. That was like really cool.
On those big yellows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guadalupe, it seems like you may not catch the most fish you've ever caught in your life, but you might catch the biggest.
And it's quality fish.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is great fish.
It's such a great place to fish. I've had a lot of great trips. I fished there a lot with Tommy on the Polaris Supreme. Did you ever fish with Tommy?
Not with Tommy. No. but I wish I did.
He's retired now.
Yes, Aliar owns the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I spent a couple of precious hours with Tommy here last weekend.
All right.
Went to his house. Man, I walked into his house and it was just deja vu because I spent a lot of time there with my kids.
Oh wow.
And doing the water slide and the whole thing, and it was just good to see a good,
Cool.
dear old friend. And his daughter Jessica was there, so we had a lot of fun. And he was talking about Aliar. He goes, "That kid's got it, man. He's really, really good." And he is, isn't he?
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah, have you fished with him?
On the
No.
Pacifica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Same thing then. Was he fishing?
Oh, it's very
Yeah.
hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell he was. You could tell he was going to get a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His scores are always right at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. But
He-
yeah, unfortunately, I never got to fish with Tommy. I wanted to, but I fished the qualifier, Royal Star. The Shogun. Those were the boats that I usually always got on.
Yeah.
On little trips.
They got us up to 75. Let's
Hey,
keep
that's
going
awesome.
just a little bit more.
Appreciate it, but yeah, those fun trips. Back
Riddle-
when it was cheap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Riddler, Tommy, he's
that's
such a
right.
good friend of mine, and
Good.
I've known him for so long. Great, great, great guy. Great family guy. Super good fisherman.
Cool.
We flew down he needed a translator because he was trying to get a deal where he would run out of Mag Bay.
Okay.
So we flew to Laredo, and then I did all the translating. We had so much fun. We
Awesome.
goofed off in Laredo, and then I think we rented a car, did whatever, and went over and had a great time. So
So it's got to
Yeah.
be cool for him to see his boat
yeah,
with the great captain, getting good numbers and being treated right. Like when you sell something, it's like, oh man, I hope you
because
take
it's
care of
been
it.
such a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And to see it like, I mean, that Aliar is going to treat that boat with love and respect, and I mean, obviously he's going to continue catching fish.
And Tommy was so friendly at the Fred Hall show. That's why I always wish I would have got on the boat.
Yeah, did you go talk to him once in a while?
All the time,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like some people. I used to laugh, and I think I told my wife years ago. You see, you got kids that starstruck or athletes or whatever. To me, it was like captains when you go to.
Yeah, right.
Like, man, that guy we'll go pick his brain or ask him stuff. But yeah.
Same thing. So I saw Tommy when I was down there doing the interview with Bill. So I went to Tommy's. Then I came to San Diego, did the interview with Bill, and then after that, I met an old college professor of mine, but author, long-range author. Sam's favorite book is called Hot Rail by Nick Curcione.
I know the book. I haven't read that.
Oh, okay. So I went and I asked Nick, hey, you got any copies? He goes, man, you can't get them. I don't have any anymore. He had, did I bring that book? I don't know if I did, but he gave me a saltwater fly fishing book and inscribed that I was his favorite student and blah, 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 blah. We had a great relationship. We're, still friends all these many years later. But Nick, I mean, he fished with Lopreste. He fished. In fact, I mentioned to Tommy, hey, I'm going to go see Nick. He goes, oh, man. Nick and I were trying to set a record fly fishing for wahoo.
Wow.
And on the slide, we'd hook these things. And Nick hooked this one that jumped out of the water that looked like it was 90 pounds and broke it off. And he said he was using foul language
just made up
for the
words,
rest of the week.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I'll have to ask my brother. He has quite a few books. Maybe
Nick Curcione.
Okay.
Funny guy, and he has not lost his sense of humor. He's almost 80 years old now, but great guy. And he used to come over to my house in Torrance, and we do Monday Night Football, and he was hilarious.
Awesome.
There was some crazy stuff going on.
Fun.
All right, Noel Conklin, no question, somewhat of a newbie, and I just wanted to say how much I've learned from watching the Friedman Adventures recently. Thanks again, Noel. How's that make you feel?
It's awesome.
Because you're part of this.
I appreciate it. But yes, you have
No, I'm talking about tonight.
Yeah, I know, but you have a lot of great content.
Well, Noel, thank you so much. We try to walk that line between the guys that know what they're doing, so we've got to provide them with some more advanced stuff, but we do not want to turn our backs on the new people coming in, Noel. And that comment that you just made means, I should be looking at Noel. No,
right?
That comment that you just made means an awful lot to me.
And we love to help folks like you, that get on a boat and make it pleasurable, right? And want you to come back and get hooked and go spend your money too on tackle and everything. Yeah, but let's keep that industry going.
Do you ever go on an open party trip and spy out somebody who looks like they don't know what they're doing and walk over and say?
Every single time.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe that.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You helped me on the Amigo when I couldn't figure out, couldn't. Here, let me help you out, Phil. That was funny.
Sit down, Phil. I got this.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, totally. My brother Paul, he still talks about you. He remembers what a nice person you were.
Great guy.
Did he catch anything? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
right?
did. Yeah.
He was a much better fisherman than me because I went the deckhound route, so I didn't fish, and he stayed
fishing.
Yeah, he was the deadhead route, you know, and he was really a good stick, you know.
Good.
Yeah, for many years. Ruben Lopez says Tommy's great. Ruben, Tommy looked great, and it was just really good to spend time with him. I honestly, when I hugged him, I had a tear coming down my eye because it had been too long.
Oh, cool.
And he recently lost his wife, so that was a thing that brought some, yeah. So, and he's supposed to send me a photo. He said he had a photo of Ruth, my wife, with Susan, his wife, and so at the pool with the kids, and we had some great
old
photos.
Memories. Yeah,
great old memories. Gustavo Prieto, one more question, and then no more. That's it. No, I'm kidding you, Gustavo. Ask away. I charter a 6-pack for my birthday. Hey, we want to go on that. My birthday present to myself. Great. What private charter do you recommend?
What are you looking for, right?
Yeah.
It all depends on what fish you want to chase after.
So you're going to say the Dreamer if you want to catch a white sea bass?
There's the Dreamer. then if I go down south, San Patella, the Invader.
Oh, shoot. There you go.
I used to fish. I fished with him on the Qualifier 105 when he ran that, and
I love Sam.
Great.
Did you see his podcast?
Yes.
On here? Yeah, he's another great, nice
so
guy.
So when I saw him back into getting the boat, I go, oh man, I want to get on that boat because he gets after it. He's hardcore. Into the depths, down south. I think he got the Diego kid. I forget his name, but yeah, I think it depends on what you're looking for. For 6-pack boats because I don't charter those, but I've been on the Dreamer, and I just want to fish on San Patella's boat. But I think it's you can't go wrong. Just make sure you check the landings. The ones that have those boats, I think, are the more reputable, safer ones. Maybe with the better safety record.
Right.
And see what it is you want to go after.
All right, we need 100 likes to get out of here now. We're almost done. Are you tired? Are you okay?
I'm good. It's like just rolling now.
I know, man. It's just like we're well over 2 hours into this and no breaks, and it just keeps flowing. You know that you have a great guest when that happens.
It's awesome. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. All right, let's go to another one. Brandon, the same trip. Randy came down and said, I hooked a wahoo. I said, BS. And when I broke off after 3 seconds, Randy said, I told you so. And it was precision cut, never questioning again. So I think he's talking about Randy Tucson, or yeah. And those
Randy
who's
Tucson,
just,
yeah, you got the scissor cut.
Yeah, it happens all the time. FDS, I'm getting back into fishing, and David's been a great help. Absolutely, helped me flatten my learning curve. Thanks, bro, Felipe.
Yes,
Felipe was on the trip.
Yeah, no, he's my cousin.
Oh,
Felipe Diaz, right? Yes.
Felipe, yo me amo Felipe también.
He was just recently on a good yellowtail bite. Mission Bell, I want to say.
Oh, really? With my buddy Sean Hardigan.
Probably, yeah. He may chime in. I think that's the right boat. But yeah, he's doing well. He sends me a message and asks a couple questions. But it's like, what's he asking? Look at him. He just killed a whole bunch of, he did an awesome job.
Yeah. Sean Hardigan's a great captain. He runs the Mission Bell, if that was the boat, whether he did or not. Sean's
I believe
a
it
great
was,
captain.
yeah.
And good friend of mine, really, really good friend. He has the distinction of being the roommate to Mr. Coffee.
Really? That's the beginner.
Scott Buchert.
Well, Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, Mr. Throw the coffee in Jeff Jessup's face. Yeah.
Oh, I was going back to the coffee era of the real.
Oh, I'm talking about the guy that threw the coffee in Jeff
yeah.
Jessup's face. That's right, Mission Bell, he says. Felipe says.
Right. But Scott's a great guy, though, guys.
He's a great guy. Yeah. In fact, he's calling me 600,000 times tonight because he's in on the Ranger 85, and I hope they got the sea bass because he'll have a detailed report. And he'll go, do you have a pen? And I'll go, yeah, I got a pen. Just, spit it out. And then he'll give the whole thing, and I'll go, hey, can you do that again because I didn't have a pen?
Nice.
What's the kill me?
Sounds like, yeah.
Too much. Well, I think it's almost time to wrap it up because, one thing we haven't done is we haven't thanked Janelle and Tony out front. And they may be watching, and they're thinking to themselves right now, even though I made them homemade burritos today.
Now they're watching. Come on.
Phil is an ingrate, He should have said thank you a long time ago. Tony, Janelle, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And we're not through yet because we have another question, but I'm trying.
But thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
I
right?
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting Philip. Thanks for being on here, making this easier for me than I really thought.
I just drew another Patreon member winner.
Did you really?
Name is Joe Gallagher.
Okay, what does Joe get? Does he get the
gets
rest
same
of this?
thing, right?
Give him. I don't know what you got. You got.
We'll
stuff
give him
here.
You got a jig again or another one?
I do.
Okay, so we'll give him that, and we'll give him a Daiwa hat and a jig.
So you get a Daiwa hat and a 300 gram.
How much are those jigs?
They're about 25 to 35.
That's a good deal. Yeah, right on. Perfect.
So you got the Daiwa hat, and this is a hot color too. Purple 300 gram West Coast jiggers, or they call it the KB jig.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank those guys too. It sounds like a great jig, something people should be using out there, right?
Yeah, I just grabbed these from my stash and said I'll give these away, and hopefully somebody will send in pictures to Phil and say, look what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Wild Willie, is it boat policy or Coast Guard registration not letting guests on deck if there is no deckhand at night? There should never be a time where there's
it
not.
might be a Coast Guard thing because I know when they go through the safety thing, they don't want you out there
No, you shouldn't
without
be.
anybody. And really, I don't know if a boat's going to allow a crew not to be up and paying attention.
You have to be by law. You have to
Yeah.
have somebody on night watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Wild Willie, somebody should be on watch. Definitely. That's especially after
Very important.
we had that tragedy up there on the dive boat.
Yep.
Where that fire took so many innocent lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important. And plus, people go out on deck and it's dangerous.
It is.
If it's nighttime, you go over and there's no one to see it, you're done.
It's like that gentleman that sleepwalked off the boat recently.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me an article.
Yeah.
Right here, just up north a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Luckily, they found him alive.
My friend Jim Birkin, to this day, I'm saddened by it. He was going albacore fishing in Morro Bay. He was a writer for, I forget the name of the newspaper, but he asked me to go with him. And I go, I'm busy, and that weather sucks up there right now. And so he got seasick. This is what happened in the court documents. He got seasick, and the crew was not helping that much. He went out on deck to vomit, and the theory is that pitched him over. And this guy called me in the morning and said, I answered the phone. He's the president of the San Francisco Bay Area Tuna Club, Batsford, and he goes, I answer the phone and I go, hello. It was early, 5:30, and he goes, Phil, thank God you're there. And I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, a sports writer went over last night on board I forget who it was, Marauder or whatever it was. And he said, I thought it was you. And I go, no, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And it was Jim.
Oh,
and he used to come over with his kids, play with my kids. So another sad situation, no question.
But yeah, there should always be somebody watching.
Yeah. Wild Willie was on deck at night on a 1.75 day trip. First mate was driving and no deckhand on deck. That's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's a problem. All right, you should. I don't know what you should do, but you should. Next time, I would, grab somebody and say, "Hey,
the captain
why isn't there somebody down here?"
Talk to the captain. Always to the captain first.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's the guy in charge.
Yeah,
he's going to take care of it. Yeah. So, all right, Brandon, is Nick Cates still around? David and Phil, first time overnight when he owned the new low and. Thanks for the answer. Hope he's hanging in there.
We're talking about Red Rooster 3?
He's talking about Nick ran the new Loan.
Well, he used to.
Did he run the Red Rooster too?
He owns it, I thought.
Oh, does he?
Could be wrong, but
it's not Andy Cates or.
Oh wait, Dad. Okay, one of them. I think Nick Cates. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but no, Marcus Meddock owns the Nilo Ann. I'm not sure if Adam's part owner yet or not. But Marcus came off the Royal Star. I remember we were fishing on that boat right before he was going to buy the Nilo Ann. But yeah, it's all coming to me now. But yeah, I don't know about where Nick Cates are about. Right.
And Wild Willie's back again. Owner captain was sleeping. So Wild Willie, I prefer that you don't put the name of the boat up here because I don't know the circumstances. Contact the boat and have a conversation with them and go from there.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to let me know how that all works out? I'd like to hear, but just handle that and then get back to me and let me know how that all works out. But somebody should be on deck watch. There's no question about it. I think we've got an opening, and I know Tony and Janelle are like, yeah, in the show. So let me just make a couple of comments real quick. Number one, don't miss that albacore forecast update with Bob Osborne, fisheries expert. You're going to love that. Brian Burrell tomorrow, a little later in the day, and also the what do you call it? The morning briefing?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. And more than anything, I want to thank each and every one of you for making this show so special. More than that, David.
Thank you.
You were an extraordinary guest. When I first brought this up to you, you were like, I don't know. Yeah. And I knew you'd be a hit and you'd be fantastic, and you didn't let me down.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that, all the viewers, thank you guys. That helps.
Yeah. Wild Willie says
you
thanks.
made it nice and smooth, son.
Oh, hey. Wild Willie says thanks for the info. SoCal Saltwater Anglers.
Yep.
What's up, David?
What's up? What's going on, Mario, I believe?
I'm going to bail on this while there's still time. You want a charter list, 657-227-6459. Really appreciate you all being with us. And you, my friend, are first class.
Thank you. I
You are a
appreciate it.
fantastic guest.
Appreciate it.
I can't thank you enough.
No, thank you. I'm very humbled. Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll say goodbye. I'm going to come up here and say thank you.